You know, I was, my sister and I were talking about the snow banks that used to be all around Salt Lake and Kernton area. And I think it's because they now have all that chemicals in the salt they put on the ground. So when they shovel, I think it melts up faster. It doesn't pile up like it used to because they have that other chemicals in there. Because I can sprinkle that stuff on my ice at my house and it can be 0 and still be melting. I'm like, I wonder if that's why. We talked about in Kearns how long the school had the 4 or 5 feet snow banks. Kids nowadays have no clue how much fun they're missing out on. No snow banks.
You went to Kearns? Did you go to Kearns?
No, I moved us to Cypress right as my 9th grade year.
Okay, so I dated
How are you doing today, Lance?
student body president.
Cypress?
I sit all day and I'm battling.
I want to say he was 1 or 2 years older
Okay.
than me.
As long as you're not like nervous or antsy about being here.
82? Oh, I was 79.
About 10 years ago.
I wouldn't have
So,
known.
but he would have been
Water.
older than me.
Oh, so he might have been a 79.
And I cross my legs a lot.
Oh,
It's a bad habit. It's hard to break.
He would have probably been maybe, was it a 3, did you go 3 years or 4? 4. Because he would have probably been maybe a freshman or
City Hall,
a senior.
and now it's just.
I could look.
Carl.
Carl?
Well, the way you hurt your leg is way cooler than the way I hurt my leg, Lance. Water skiing.
But see, he didn't become student body president until his senior year.
There's some things you just.
I just wondered if he'd be in the yearbook. So I have all my
He probably
yearbooks.
would.
So I have all my yearbooks from my
But I
site
can't
senior year.
remember.
How old were you?
48.
See, that's just a cool story. That's just a
When?
cool
What?
story. You were out water skiing when he was 48?
I tried the water.
Actually, it's not a cool story because it ended up bad.
I know, but it just shows how cool Lance is.
It's probably not the kind of pain that you had, but it was the worst pain that I've ever had.
Oh,
Yeah.
not yet, sorry.
Gotta say, even breaking your femur doesn't actually compare to getting hit by a car.
Actually, look at these clocks are different.
They're always different.
One needs a battery. So that one must need a battery.
So I'll just turn it off for 5
701,
minutes.
so that was correct right now.
Yeah.
So, I'll ask my friend. She introduced us because her husband went to, oh, did you know Steve Orchard?
Yes.
He married one of my closest friends.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I know Steve.
Tell me what your name was then.
Davidson, Tammy Davidson. Yeah, Steve is, I can't remember if he's a year older or if he's my age. I think he's my age, 'cause I saw something on Facebook about him. He's one that does not look the same, or some of them don't look the same. He's one.
Well, you know, the sad part is do you remember the story about his dad? He had that store.
Yeah.
Somebody came in and shot him.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
See, I lived in Ranger Hunter. I lived in Hunter, and they changed the boundaries and put it so. Our area was kind of the outcast, and just happened to kind of get to know everything. And then I married Larry that went to school there, and I went to school with his sister. We grew up a mile apart, didn't know that when we first started.
Hey, how are you doing, Justin?
Good, how are you? Sorry, Blake.
Oh, you're good.
That's too funny.
I know.
And you grew up around here, right, Chris?
I was born in Salt Lake, raised in Sandy in the Virgin area. I just lived here for 6th and half of 7th grade.
What part of Salt Lake did you live in?
Federal Heights.
Okay. Okay. That was up by, is that up by the Kmart up there? And, what was the address? Like 20?
74 Virginia Street.
But what were the cross coordinates?
There was not a keyword. So here's University of Utah, and the avenues apply to you. That's what they call it. What do they call it? The avenues.
Right, they call it the avenues.
Maybe there's a Kmart there. I don't know.
Well, there was a Kmart over if you went that direction across.
There was, but it was a bit of a drive.
Yeah, it was on 21st.
Yeah,
So
this is 74.
Right.
So it's like, we were like right up there.
Right.
It was I wish my parents kept that house.
I know, and there's some of the coolest houses up there. I had a friend who rented a house up there, and you walked in the house, and it literally had those staircases that go up on either side. And you just walking like a princess house.
Yeah.
So, and where'd you grow up, Keith?
I grew up in,
I couldn't remember mine.
about until 8 years old in Salt Lake, West Jordan. And then we moved to Burnt Fork, Wyoming. Such a big town, there were 4 houses and we doubled the population.
Oh,
Moved in there. And then when I was 14, we moved to Axtell. And then I was there till I moved out.
just doing what he can. About it.
Everyone's probably speaking to the microphone. Let me know when you're ready, Chris.
What did I say about you?
We haven't had a lot of attendance last few meetings.
I wonder if it's gotten so cold or what.
And
We need to like
Right.
make announcements, we need to remind.
Everyone will
We-
make sure their
we've
mics
tried.
are on.
I know, but like an announcement in front of.
oh yeah, maybe I should have.
Things like that,
We've
yeah.
done that before.
Yeah, but truthfully, I can send out an email and remind everybody to speak. And if I don't know if I remember to, so if you want to remind me, I can send out an email.
Yeah, you've told me this before. So. Chris, are we ready to go?
Yes, it's all, yeah.
All right, if everyone's ready, we can go ahead and start the meeting. Everyone all right with that? Okay, before we get the meeting started, I want to let you know Heather will be here. She's going to be a little late. I think it would be respectful if any subjects that we think are important, we try to put off until she's here to join us. So if anyone feels like any of the subjects are on there, just let us know and we'll hold those off till she's able to join us if possible.
Do you have it, find out what the issue is?
I
It's not like it's super critical.
It's emailed to you, but I can give you a copy.
No,
that's probably a good idea.
What?
it's not emailed to her unless you sign up.
Do you have to
Well-
sign up?
I'll show you how to.
We'll get started with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, and we'll start with roll call. Justin Alder. Here. Yvonne Larson.
Here?
Tammy Privet.
Here.
Christina Winkle.
Yes.
Keenan Pearson here, and Yvonne is not here, or sorry, apologize. Heather is not here at the moment, but she will be later, so we'll make sure we say when she arrives. Okay, is there anything that anyone wants to address first? And again, if there's anything that has importance, let's try to put it off until Heather gets here. If not, we'll just go through item by item. Okay, we will start with the reading from the previous minutes, and then I brought this up. Sorry, I'll repeat the question. Shane Burton was wondering if there was an opportunity for people to voice their concerns as part of the meeting. So I went to a workshop by 6 counties last year, and they said that in certain circumstances, mainly areas with high populations, especially when it's a controversial subject, they will have a specific time to do that, and certain places with the population they always have that on the agenda. He said that the way most small towns do it, and it's up to the person running the meeting. So in my case, it would be the mayor. For planning and zoning, it would be Zeb. It is at their discretion whether they recognize people in the audience to bring concerns to it or not. And I try to always make sure I include people, and from what I've seen, I think Zeb's usually pretty good about allowing people to voice their concerns as well.
Now, what was the question again?
No,
She was wondering.
I just noticed before on the agendas that they had a line item where somebody in the audience wanted to bring up something they could. And I just noticed reading through this that wasn't there. So I didn't know if that was just an oversight or if that had changed since I've been here.
Yeah, we've had that before, and the thing is for most subjects, if it's an out of the blue subject, like, you go, hey, I just noticed that my neighbor has too many cats, which is something we've had here before.
No.
When they bring that up, we actually can't discuss it in very much detail unless it's on the agenda, because it's not fair, for example, the person that we might be talking about, if they have not had an opportunity to see what subject is on there. So most of the times what the correct procedure to do would be to contact one of your council members, say, this is a concern I have, can we address it at the next meeting? And then we're able to get it posted, and we are able to address it after. So we always can have a subject. Okay, Heather Myers is here. Awesome. Weren't even that late. Awesome. But yeah, so we could have a line item saying that people have concerns. Let's bring them up, but it would just be, I'm concerned about this, and it would have to go on the agenda for the next meeting if you wanted any results.
Okay. So if it's like an update or something like that on
Yeah, so, and then again, I try to, I try to include the audience whenever someone's got a concern, and from what I've seen, Zeb does it as well, so. Okay, awesome.
Got any concerns?
No,
Number
I
one.
don't. No, at the moment, I'm good.
Do you have an announcement?
Do I have an announcement? No, I'll work on it.
You're not pregnant?
Nope.
Goodness.
That's not funny to say.
That's a little personal.
No, it's not.
If I wasn't Shane, I wouldn't have said that.
That would have been a shot to everybody, including me.
Oh, you don't like it all.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't include you. We're just reading through the previous minutes. So if you've had a chance to do that before.
And if we sign up on that website, I'll show you where. Anytime she posts something, you can get it in email.
Oh, sweet, okay.
Even when she uploads the minutes and any of that stuff, you'll see her. But you can also get on there if you're not signed up and look at the minutes and stuff.
Well,
They're there.
that's good to
Not
know.
all of them are there.
Because that's, I mean, like I said, I think, I'm sad that people don't come. I mean, I don't know how many times you guys sit here and there's somebody in the audience, but we try to come.
More than that.
I think it's been mostly since it got really cold in October. We were having a few people come every month, and then when it started getting those below zero things, it kind of.
Yeah. I said before that if we bring up annexation, everyone from the town will show up. We've had a few things that I think people have misunderstood.
I mean, if you
And a
bring
bunch
up
of
water
people show
bill,
Yeah.
you're gonna get big hordes of people.
Yeah, so whenever there's like a controversial subject, everyone shows up, and I was kind of hoping that would translate into more interaction further on. But I think that we haven't gotten there yet.
I have a question. Are there a lot of people signed up on this thing that you're talking about?
We can't see, it's run by the state.
Okay, so I'm just wondering if maybe we
It's
did
on
an
the,
email tree.
it's on, well, yeah, you can do that, but it's on the water bill. How to go on, well, basically.
Okay, but I'm just saying if we had an email tree for people who were,
I actually learned about it from an email tree. Laurie Allen let me know, and I'm like, oh, that's cool, so I did it a long time ago.
okay. I'm just,
That would be
see, I've
good.
been here as long as I've been here and I still don't know some of this stuff. So I'm gonna say that if I don't, there's probably others who don't.
It's pretty cool.
Is
Yeah.
that just notification of the meeting?
Yeah, from the state.
Just that what's
Uh-huh.
happening and then, and even a link to be able, like
Yeah.
she's saying, a link for people to go on and know, this agenda's on the link.
Mhm.
So then people can kind of know what's going on.
And if
Yeah.
something was
When your
added, that
website
was
gets
posted,
up, that would be help.
I did notice that our sign in the store is out of date, it's still 2022, so we're
I know,
probably
I
up to
haven't-
the new
I've-
schedule.
I've had my mom in the hospital and then a death and then my dad, and so I
Yeah.
haven't been around much for about a month, so
Um,
I need to
Yeah.
get.
and I should have
Well,
put
the
that
schedule for the,
But if I move it, then
Council
somebody put
meetings.
something in there, so I moved a
Last
couple of
year.
things and they put something else there, so I'm holding my,
Place.
Melissa said that she told that if it was some of ours there, that I just have to take one to replace it so that it doesn't disappear.
I see.
It still gets people attention if they say,
Well,
"What's
we
my
can-
name?" I know they don't.
Get what, reminded them in the water bill.
Right.
A lot of people don't look at their water bill.
Or if it's not like the day before or the day of, I mean, if I don't remember and actually put it in my calendar.
Oh, I know, you want a text that says ding dong.
My life is so busy that if I don't have
Mhm, yeah,
something like that,
during the
then I
club.
really don't remember.
Yeah.
And so,
Yvonne, on the minutes, was it 60,000 for the new meters, is that what we said? I can't remember, that seems a little high to me, but it might be right.
That's about right, because it seems like, 20 more was like, I'm just gonna pull it out.
Okay, as long as that sounds right.
Yeah, that's
I know the number probably would.
the meters and the endpoints together.
I said I skimmed it before, I'm just making sure. I really should. Read it through in detail before I come to the meetings.
you probably save a lot of time in the meetings if you have the minutes were read before you came and all you did was update what you didn't like or whatever.
I would save a lot of time if you just type less.
And
Just
top
kidding.
flash you guys.
I mean, you did talk class, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Just trying to capture what happened for the
What is that saying? What is that saying? No, let me just say, no, let me sum up.
Sometimes it's just 2 pages, other times it's more.
Well, probably more words and more clarity, right?
Well, in certain circumstances, so we had a couple misunderstandings last time, we ended up getting worked out, it was just we read some parts that were, part of the thing was misunderstood. And so in situations like that, it's good to have yeah, it's good to have highly detailed things. Usually, they actually ask you to be not vague, somewhat vague. So that, for example, if someone comes up and say, I totally agree that we should raise the water bills and drive everyone out of town. If that is specifically on the minutes, it sounds like that person's supporting it. And if any of those things ever come to court, they typically just read the minutes and side with what the minutes say. So, you know, it's up to the clerk how they record the minutes, and then if we're constantly, you know, giving feedback, I think this part, you know, maybe we can leave this part out. For example, when I became mayor, we just thought, you know, you mark it down if it was an approved vote or not an approved vote. And same workshop I brought up before, I went there and they said, no, if it's an elected official, so not with planning and zoning, but if it's an elected official, then you have to know what they voted. So that has to go. So it's, you know, we're just moving forward, trying to figure out, like, you know, the best way to do it. And yeah, I think we're all learning a lot.
Yeah. So how many meters was that for?
That's for 70. I think this is the very first ones we got.
Oh.
So,
So we probably need to report.
Probably.
I think the number in the minutes is fine. We need to get reported if we want anything in addition to that.
We can correct it today.
I wonder if we could use some,
She was just,
oh, COVID money.
COVID
ARPA
money? Well, didn't we use the ARPA money for the,
We did for the forward.
well, no, we used it for the, GIS mapping. Or did we?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do we have any left?
But then there was COVID and ARPA.
Oh.
No, it wasn't.
Okay. Did we ever figure out the overtime that we paid Jim last time? I think that was last meeting, right?
Yes.
What was the deal with that?
We did have, somehow it had the $30 an hour on there, so there was 13.25 hours. So what we did is we took 13.25 hours in those same categories on this last paycheck, and I talked to him in advance, and we moved that to just $10 an hour.
I see.
it was my fault. Under other on his time card, I saw the OT and I thought that was
Overtime?
So I put the
Okay.
13 under overtime rather
Oh,
than other.
okay.
So
Sounds
it's all been fixed. Tammy figured it
good.
By the way, the carpet in here looks a lot better.
Oh, it has been cleaned up.
Doesn't it? Maybe it's the light, maybe I'm just.
The chairs are covering it up. I don't think it's been cleaned yet, has it, Yvonne?
Now, what?
The carpet hasn't been cleaned yet.
No.
I think it's March
Yeah.
10th. Is it March
I don't
10th?
know when we're gonna work it in.
And see, this is why I'm not in charge of checking it out.
What's that? What'd you say, Yvonne?
I think, I don't know when we'll work it in, we got a lot going on, we gotta have a rental for next Saturday, the other day.
Oh, the March 10th one? You got
So
one?
it's just, you know, they say it only takes 12 hours to drive it,
Oh,
I like to give it more than that
Yeah,
with the traffic we have.
yeah, and if anybody comes in
I'm
here,
just not comfortable
yeah, if anyone
And
comes
with
in
the
here when
weather,
it's wet, then
the way it is,
it's worse.
Maybe when the mud goes down,
yeah.
if that's ever gonna go down.
Yeah, I don't think it'd hurt to wait
I
till
don't either.
April or something.
And when it dries out a
I
little
can't,
bit.
we've really had quite a few rentals this time of year, and normally we don't. It's kind
As long as they're not hot funerals. I want more.
Do you, how much is the building rental? I've had a few people ask me and I always defer to you.
$50.
$50?
Just a you know, a party, if somebody has a wedding, sets up a wedding, you know, a
Okay,
wedding where people come and, you know, a
Alright.
regular wedding, then it's 100.
all right. That way I can save you some time when people ask me instead of always asking about it. Thanks.
That might be something we could consider raising, and looking at some of the other nearby
Yeah,
towns,
it does.
places,
Does seem a
you
little
know,
low.
but, you know, we will get to that point, or whatever.
All right, thank you.
I think we're maybe all done reviewing the minutes.
So did anybody need to make any changes?
Other than just the spelling on
Polaris.
Polaris,
Yeah, I've already
So
talked to
that's-
her,
yeah.
she was doing that.
so I can see.
Is there like more than one place?
Yeah,
It's hard to know how to spell that.
and you can do it.
Okay, all right. Someone want to make a motion to approve the minutes as amended?
Is it where they amend, oh, the floors, yeah.
I make a motion to accept the minutes of January 17th, 2023 as amended.
There's- Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Justin, aye. Yvonne, aye. Heather, aye. Tammy, aye. Motion passes. Okay. Present annual audit report. That's the thing we put off till this meeting, right? Did you able to last time?
The what?
The present annual audit report.
Yes. So, technically, they were supposed to go through on this, supposed to be like within 180 days of the end of the fiscal year, so we tried, but there's been some other things, so I'm just gonna go through and read what, for the record, what, the CPA's notated.
Okay, is there any, oh, never mind. I was thinking something, not college, but.
That's all, okay.
Okay.
So on the general policies and procedures, do the policies and procedures address the following: receiving, recording, and timely deposit funds, purchasing, approval of disbursements, and record requests, those are all yes. Record retention, no, we don't have a specific record retention policy that we need to make. There is a basic one that the clerk's supposed to follow and training, but we need to set something up, whether it's just a copy of what's in the code for the basic, or, and then it says for your discussion, are staff knowledgeable of the policies? Yes. If financial expertise is lacking, has help been sought from peers, auditors, or outside consultants? They put down Polaris assists as necessary, and that I don't agree with because of some of the problems we've had. Polaris does not, we need to have a higher up than Polaris, but the CPA's also said that we could contact them if we had questions. And that I'm
The
also,
CPA said what?
we could ask questions.
Ask
For
questions to the CPA or
Yes.
To the floors, wasn't
or to Florida?
Well, they have down here Polaris, and I don't know why they put that because I never heard that discussion. But I did specifically ask during that review, can't we also contact you if we have questions on things? And they said yes.
So why do we have and pay Polaris if we don't need them or?
Because
not?
Polaris is actually the software company. They're not actually an accounting firm. They are the software company, so if you have questions on the software, and that was in the email that I got from Kyle too, that talked about they don't record the conversation when someone calls, but they open a ticket, and they record who it was that called and what they needed help with, and that can be reviewed, but they are software support.
Yeah, and they do have experienced accountants working there, but they are not being held accountable as accountants. And, you know, like I said before,
They've got the experience to.
they are,
don't.
and,
Question you have.
No, they don't. I'll disagree with that every day. Yeah.
well, and going back to some of the challenges we've had with them, I think that it's not out of line to say maybe we shouldn't be asking their opinions on it. But
How to put it in the system, or how to record it, or how to correct it, yes. But as far as if we're doing something right in this system, like our MBA needs to be fixed, that kind of stuff needs to come from support from a CPA on how to acknowledge, how to record that property, because they did mention on there. So anyway,
And where's Gabe Miller out of?
where's what?
Gabe Miller, he's the CPA we used for this, right?
No,
He's not?
no, Dave Miller.
Gabe Miller? That's who's on this page,
Oh, yeah, he is from Kimball and Roberts.
which is out of,
The one we've always had.
okay, just curious.
Yeah, that's Kimball and Roberts.
Gabe was the one that did this,
Yeah.
which is here the last time, usually land survey.
Okay.
Was a 7-day required notice given to the public for all budget hearings? And no, it was not. That was in even the meeting where I did a point of order that there was no 7-day minute notice for it, so that was a no, so we have to be careful with that. Just notates it will be better. Was the original budget approved by the governing body before the start of the fiscal year? Yes. Did the original budget include 3 columns of data? State actual revenues, expenses from the last completed fiscal year, estimated total revenues and expenses for the current fiscal year, and budget estimates for the upcoming year. And yes, it does. That's in the software. If any amendments were necessary, was the budget amended before payments were made that exceeded the budget and not at the end of the year? No. That's what I'm trying to be really careful that we don't do this year. That's why we need to set up a meeting to go over the budget, because we ended up the year with negatives where we had overdone our budget. We have to do better.
So Tammy, question, I mean, this stuff, it's not my area of expertise, obviously, but you said no, but on here we have NA.
On 7,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So why is the reason for NA?
I thought it was no, because they were talking about, he showed us where we had on there that we were upside down. So I don't know, I thought it was no.
Okay.
But he was showing me and
So-
talking with me that we have to, we should amend the budget before we spend it, and at least before the end of the year, and make sure we move items around so that if we spend a lot more in one area than we anticipated, we can do a revise.
Clear record of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he did suggest that it would be good, and what a lot of towns do is they have a running total of how much over and under budget they are for the year. He said that that's something that benefits a lot of small towns.
And I have to call him back and find out, because there was something that we are supposed to transfer from a fund because we were upside down by like 18,000 or something like that. But I know that there were some things that were changed that we have to
Yeah,
call the CPA and talk to about and have him help us fix it to make
and
sure.
We've also previously discussed that we will have to readdress the budget, which
Yeah.
it might be, if it works for everyone, it might be good to do this before is bundle it with the next meeting, just have.
Well,
one meeting.
I was thinking, if anybody hasn't had a chance to look at the worksheet I gave last time, I did go in and make some correction and changes from Chris Learning. I got all those done. So this one that you have today is got everything fixed in there. I could not fix anything from before June 30th. But this one is so that we can look at and see where we can move some money around, and adjust if something's really low, because there are some things that are high. And one of them is like the fire wages. We need to adjust on that, but we also have to show that the income came in for it, because we got it from the state of Utah. And that's not in there, so we just need to confirm if we got the same amount of money, we paid everybody and all that, and fix that part of the budget. And then it won't be 400% upside down.
Yeah.
Okay,
So that's just that kind of stuff. We just have to watch it.
all right.
And so I think with a lot of the changes before June 30th, we didn't know a lot of that, so now we're just trying to be more aware. And did the entity's expenses stay within the amount appropriated in the budget? No. Water fund, this is where he was saying, council will ensure budgets are not exceeded. Municipality only was the entity's unrestricted general fund balance calculated as assets less liabilities less restricted funds, such as funds set aside for roads, less than or equal to 35% for cities and 100% for towns. And that's where we had the deficit, that we need to pull money in so that it fixes that for going forward, or it'll keep going forward, he was saying, so we'll just adjust that. Local and special services, including districts, that's NA, we don't have any of those. Does it appear that financial records are maintained to support transaction balances, adjustments, etc., and the preparation of financial reports? Yes, reviewed financial reports appear maintained is what they've notated. 12, were financial reports prepared and presented to the governing body monthly, municipality, and quarterlies? No, that's one thing that we weren't good at doing, especially the last 6 months, so that is something we're trying now that we've got this all fixed. And it's in there as we voted. We knew when we voted it in that we had changes to make and corrections. We were just rushing before midnight to have it done.
And also,
Doesn't this mean all of the finance documents and budget we have in the meeting? When did we start that?
Well, the budget has not been accurate. It got changed. And now it matches what we voted, but that's still where we have to amend it. We always knew we did, it's just we haven't had the time yet. So I don't know if you guys want to do a work meeting, but that does have to be noticed and it has to be recorded in minutes.
That's what we were doing tonight.
Yeah, I guess
This
I don't
isn't a,
understand.
well, we have time tonight.
yeah, we have to,
We have to open it,
we
you
have to
can't,
do the
you have
post
to-
the budget
you have to
hearing
do it.
7 days beforehand.
yeah, you have to open the budget, you have to have a public
Well, I
hearing.
realize that, and I'm not saying
Oh, I thought you
pass
said
it,
can't.
I just said work on it.
Oh, yes. Well,
thought
we
we
can
were
make,
doing
yeah, that's what I was want, that was on the agenda, just that we could discuss if anybody has ideas.
Yeah,
But
I
really, we
realize.
can't do a lot of even discussing without opening into public. But that's why I put that on there, so if anybody wanted to come hear some of our ideas. I
So,
don't know if that
sorry,
makes
I
sense.
must be super slow, but what are the financial reports it's talking about in line 12? But haven't we got those
Yes,
in
we've gotten them every meeting.
No, I haven't. In the last 6 months, we weren't giving them every meeting.
Oh, when did we start? Because it seems like it's been about that long.
Well, we had Cindy, and I don't know that she had them all on there.
Oh.
This is 6 months. from
This is
before
for
October.
21 and
This
22.
Oh, okay, I
So
got
this,
it.
so
this
it
is,
was
this
part
expired
of
on
it.
6/30/22. That's not this new one.
Okay.
But, it says we're, oh, and that was the other thing, is we couldn't show him any that were saved. So we have to save them with the minutes and with the agenda in the book that she's doing now for record retention.
Yeah, that's
So the
what she has
document
us,
retention, that's what got us, is because
just
we couldn't
initial.
go back in there and get them. There wasn't a book to show. So even though I could say we had a lot, most of the time, I thought we had them all the time, and Yvonne could say that because we couldn't prove it. There wasn't a book, and that's what Chris and I are doing now, where there's a book that actually has every meeting, from July 1st on, and all the minutes and everything. What, Yvonne?
Yeah, but for 21, 22, we started.
Right, I just
Yeah,
had.
and there was a, like that last meeting when we had the budget hearing and Cindy had her father in the hospital and, you know, all of a sudden we were trying to pull everything together at the most important meeting of the year. We definitely didn't have them that time.
Yeah. So it was just, yeah, they're just notating we'll save the viewed reports in the future, and so, Chris will have them in there.
Okay.
To show that we're doing them, and, because we have to review and make sure that if we see something, that we're kind of the extra eyes.
Shane had a question.
Yes.
Just so I understand this, because I know I was kind of in and out a little bit on some of the budget meetings when we were talking about some stuff, but is that something where the people in the audience have the right to
Yes, so
give feedback?
you actually can't even open a budget
That's
hearing
why it's
without,
public.
or yeah, you
Public
can't
hearing.
open the budget without having a public hearing beforehand.
For that very reason.
Okay,
Yeah.
and so is this something that if people have something that they agree or disagree or whatever, then they can say, I don't, and then you guys vote on it or not?
We have to close the public hearing is where we tell them and we give them what the budget's gonna look like, and then they have a chance to make comments or say anything that they don't like about anything that we've said. And then that's where we would, address it, and then we have to close the public hearing and open up a council meeting.
Would there be a way to get in advance?
Yeah,
To
so
be able to
that's-
see
That's
what's
something that,
suggested on the budget?
yeah, that's something we will
You
make
mean
sure.
to have like a copy
You
of the
have to
budget
have-
other than just this schedule saying we're having a public hearing about the budget?
Yeah, so that if somebody had some questions, they could do some research, or they could look something up and say, well, I kind of disagree with that because of this, and this is my reason why.
They're really pretty well general.
Yeah.
So what it is they're kind of general categories, like we basically know how much we got in taxes last year, so we put that we upped it just a little teeny bit. And there's another thing on that we have to discuss, but, so we kind of know what we're getting in. And then we have the fires last year where the firefighters went, so actually our revenue has to be changed up to show that because we spent it already, we paid the firefighters, so that's one area. So a lot of these are kind of general, but I don't know if there's a problem with letting the public have a copy. It should be public record. I have to upload it to the state website, it's public record.
Yeah, but that would be after the fact, yes?
Yeah, I imagine if anyone coming to the meeting should be able to have a copy of. what
They should be able to have a
Yeah.
copy of what's there now.
What's there now, but beforehand, I question.
Well, they can get it from the public website, is it's public
Well,
record.
I know, but we wouldn't
Oh.
have it on the public website until the public.
No, we have this one, actually, I'm working with the auditor because this one was uploaded, but I did not know that it wasn't the correct one that was uploaded when I found out. So I'm working with them about making sure it's okay that I just upload it.
You mean our Kimball Roberts auditor?
No, state auditor.
Yeah,
For transparency purposes, these all have to be uploaded.
Yeah, so,
Yeah, I
so it wouldn't be
understand that.
it wouldn't be the new budget, because we won't have the changes made to it until we've had the
Yeah,
public's input, so they can
But
use
it
what
gives
we
you an
currently got
idea,
there.
an old one would kind of give you an
Kinda,
idea
yeah.
of what you've been doing.
We can give, we shouldn't have a problem giving a copy of what it is currently, because the budget is how we voted it in at the last public hearing.
And
at
so
the
the
last-
only changes that would be, I mean, you're obviously got basic stuff that you do
well,
every
right,
year.
yeah,
And then there would only be like, if you were gonna do something with roads, or if you were gonna do
Mhm.
something, then that's where it changes.
or if we had an influx of money or something to add to it.
Oh, wouldn't that be nice?
Would be, but.
Yeah.
Okay, so are we on item
13, we did the reports include a comparison of actual expenses, revenues to budget amounts, see 12 above. Do the financial records match the reports presented to the board council? Because of all the other issues, they put no there. Our bank statements, number 15, are reconciliations, comparison between the bank statement and the entity's books, being performed monthly for all bank and investments accounts, yes. If the person performing the bank reconciliation can also write checks and make deposits to someone else, also perform a detailed review of the monthly investment reconciliations, yes. For each individual receipt selected, review, they told us certain receipts on the bank, on the credit card and on the bank that they wanted to see proof of. So that's what they're talking about here. For each individual receipt selected, review the corresponding bank statement and determine that the receipt was deposited into the bank. No individual receipts may have been batched together into a deposit, so also obtain the correspondent deposit listing if applicable, yes. 18, review the canceled checks. Were they signed by only those authorized? Yes, they said, they just notated they selected 7. Were they signed by the persons other than the person to whom the check is payable? Yes. Were the payments supported by invoices and other documentation detailing the item services purchased or transferred, or funds transferred? Yes. Were the transaction consistent with the entity's purpose? Yes. 21, are purchasing credit card transactions reviewed by someone other than the credit card holder for appropriateness and for supporting documentation such as receipts? Yes. 22, does it appear that purchase card holders are required to submit receipts for all purchases made? Yes. Open and Public Meetings Act number 23, did the entity provide proper notice of the meeting at least 24 hours before each meeting by posting the notice on the Utah Public Notice website? Yes. Did the governing body take final actions only on those topics listed on the agenda? It said yes. Within 3 days of the meeting minutes being approved, were the minutes posted to the Utah Public Notice website? No, there were several that did not have them there from early in the year. They were just agendas posted there. So we are really being careful that they're posted by the 3rd, within 3 days from the date they are approved. If portion of the meeting was closed to the public, answer the following questions. Before the meeting was closed was the reason for holding the meeting closed documented in the meeting minutes. We didn't have any, so that's NA. 26B was the reason for closing the minute permitted under statute, NA. And C was NA because we didn't have any closed meetings at that year. For your knowledge or review of the board council meeting minutes, did the presiding officer of the governing body ensure that members of the governing body were provided with annual training on the requirements of the Open and Public Meetings Act? No, we did not have all the certificates. Governing body completed Open and Public Meetings Act training in August 2022. Will ensure annual training in the future. So we have to make sure it's done again before June 30th, because what we had was in August.
And that's for the members of the Planning and Zoning Committee and all of the...
Any committee, any commission and any elected official.
Okay.
Other compliance, number 28, is the entity compliant with state nepotism and hiring laws and the entity's own policies and procedures regarding nepotism. Generally, no public officer may employ, appoint, vote for, or recommend a relative for employment. Further, no public officer may directly supervise any appointee who is a relative. Relative means father, mother, grandfather, grandmother, stepchild, husband, wife, son, daughter, sister, brother, aunt, uncle, nephew, niece, first cousin, mother-in-law, father-in-law, brother-in-law, sister-in-law, son-in-law, or daughter-in-law.
Boy, in a town this small, how would it be possible?
Usually you've got a couple families that are active in the community, and looking outside of them, it's kind of hard to find help sometimes. Okay.
29, did the entity's designated records officer complete the annual training course on the requirements of GRAMA? Yes, I did. 30, local and special district service only, NA, we don't have any of those. Did the entity register with the Lieutenant Governor's office? No, didn't know. We were 2 years behind on that, but that is now current.
2 years ahead.
Now we're 2 years ahead. Or a year ahead. 32, is the treasurer properly bonded or insured in accordance with Utah Administrative Code? And it lists the code for Money Management Council, which states that for an entity and revenue budget between basically we were not high enough. And I've asked a couple of times if it would be okay if I get it increased. I'm just gonna do it because that's what they
An
do.
entry for what and who you ask?
Huh?
An entry for what?
We have to increase our bond.
Yeah.
We don't have it enough. So we were trying to go by and then some of the budget, but we have to fix the budget. But because of the budget right now, we're not really, anyway, so I'm just like, let's just raise it to it's $120, so it's $20 more to have the higher amount that they were
I was
saying.
gonna say it can't be too
No,
much money.
it's not so, and because of what our budget, and it's like, okay,
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
just raise it. If I'd rather be too high than they deemed again for not having it high enough by the CPA. For $20 a year,
20 more bucks,
yeah,
yeah.
it should be a good thing. So I just think we'll just do it. I'll just call them this week and we'll just get it done.
Is that something we have to vote on?
I don't know that we have to vote on increasing that where the CPA told us right here, is it? Because he's noted we're under budget.
As long as we put it in the budget, I think
In the budget.
Yeah, that's, or even if we've just got an available spot on the budget.
The budget gets approved, so therefore it
It's just $20 more, so, we just have to move something around. And that's another grouped category. Because we're a small town, we don't have a lot of the detailed categories that other towns would have. And we've got them kind of grouped in lumps, so it's easy to kind of balance. It doesn't take so much work. So, we'll just get that increased to his recommendation. I'll get that done this week. Fraud, illegal acts, or non-compliant. Number 33, has the entity been free of acts of fraud, illegal acts, or non-compliance? Yes. If 34 was NA. 35 was the fraud risk assessment questionnaire completed and presented to the governing body before the end of the fiscal year. Fraud, nope, we meant, that was August again, so we did it, but it was not before the June 30th. So we're gonna, we have that set up. We should probably try to do that next, it depends on the budget, I guess, because I don't know if we want to go through the fraud risk assessment all in one meeting with talking about budget, so we'll just need to get done before June 30th. Okay. And it's signed by Gabe Miller, CPA, with Kimball and Roberts and King Pearson.
All right,
Keenan,
yes.
on number 3, since there was disagreement on Flores and the use of Flores, would you like to get clarification from the CPA on that? Because I think it'd be good if we had alignment on what assistance Flores could give us and what it can.
I think that's a good idea.
I will just let you know that 3 CPAs from Hinton Burdick said that we should also have a CPA.
Well, what if,
And Kyle even said from Flores.
I think that we've had some misunderstandings on some things. If possible, and I think that this would be a good question to put in there, I think that it would be really helpful if we put together a list of questions that we'd like the attorney to get back to us on. If we could just have a bunch of, we've got a town attorney. If there's this and where there's been some disagreement with it, why don't we just put together a full list of questions? And unlike 6 counties or Utah leagues of cities and towns, he is liable for the advice he gives us.
Yeah.
So I think, is that something everyone's okay with? If we have any questions on whether something's being done right, or if there's things we need to know on, if we could just compile a complete list, send it to him, and, it would probably be the most efficient way then, if we did it that way.
Yeah, I guess my question was, and that would be fine. The way this says Flores assists as necessary, they don't say whether Flores should or shouldn't. They just say they do. So I think it would be interesting to see what the CPA that signs this opinion is on Flores for this budgetary financial recommendations or guidance or whatever they give. That's all. I just think it'd be interesting
I
to
can
see
reach
what
out
it
to
says.
them for that before.
I just know that none of them at Flores are CPAs. And if you can be in an accounting and work with accounting, and you can have different ways of doing something, but until you work with a CPA to know exactly what's restricted or what the IRS code is, and Utah code goes with as well, there's no reason if we have access to a CPA that we don't use the CPA and then ask Flores to help make sure something's done. But I could name 5 things right now that are not correct, that I do not know why Flores did them, and that would be something we could ask Flores.
Well, what if I reach out to the inspector, ask for clarification on that, and then if we don't feel if that answer isn't to everyone else's satisfaction, we can have that on a list of questions to ask the attorney.
I think that'd be good. I mean, he signed it and he put the comments, so it'd be interesting to know his
Well,
take, being a CPA.
I was at the meeting, and I believe Yvonne told him that was who we called to for accounting stuff. And just my experience in the world with computers and technology, they're there to help you navigate the software. They're not there to tell you major accounting stuff that you should talk to an accountant about.
And it might be possible that they completely have all of these answers, but like when I talk to them about security concerns we have, I will bring up again that they said that sometimes they're lax on the security concerns and stuff if they feel that it's the approach the town wants to take, which I think that's a great customer service approach. I don't think that's necessarily a great approach when it comes to municipalities.
But do you see what I was trying to say? There's a difference between helping us with navigating the software and accounting principles.
And if we ask the question to them and we still feel like we need to ask the question to the attorney, I think that we've probably got some different opinions on this that won't, I think that we probably are going to think this way unless we get some clarification. I don't think us discussing it is going to.
In my opinion, would just be this particular CPA, because he put yes, and he put this no, Flores assist is necessary. So what's his explanation for that? Because, really what it boils down to is Tammy doesn't agree. I don't know. Yvonne has used Flores in the past, and that may just be based on her understanding. So It'd just be interesting to see what the CPA has to say about
Yeah,
it. Maybe
so
he
I'll-
has information if we don't, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'll reach out to him and then,
Yeah.
if necessary, we can reach out to the attorney too, if everyone's okay with that.
Cool.
So out of curiosity, is Flores a person or
They're a
It's
software
software
company.
company.
that Basically, it's the bookkeeping software for the town.
County clerk.
His last name is, us, and his first name is
It's Polaris, the North Star's brother.
And just so that you know too, Justin, I don't know if you're aware of this, but I work with Hinton Burdick, I have like 6 CPAs,
Yeah.
and they'll answer almost any question I ask them, and they always give me code with it, and they will stand by it whenever.
Yeah, and that's good. That's what makes me
That's
wonder, he
how
signed
they
this
should.
and he
Yeah.
put it, so what's his explanation?
And I agree, and
You know,
I would be, because I was gonna call and ask that question myself, because when I saw that, I'm like, because I remember Yvonne told him that that's who we call.
Yeah.
And, but that's what I asked him too there, I'm like, so if we have other questions on actual accounting and stuff that we're kind of torn with, like this MBA thing, can we call you? And he says, oh yeah. So he also gave that, so Polaris can help us navigate the software, but if we have concerns about how something is going to be done, they're also okay with it, with calling and asking them.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I think if he's saying assist is necessary, sounds like they're okay with them assisting us.
Yeah, well, and
You
a
know.
lot of this comes down to what their definition of assist is.
Yeah, exactly. Is it assist in knowing where to put the number in the right box with
Assist
the
in
software, or
navigating
is
the
it assist in financial expertise? Because that's what this says, so
Yeah.
to me, it says, yeah, they
Yeah,
can tell you how to do
they
your
tell you how.
CPA work, or whatever it's called, I don't even know.
Yeah, so we'll just,
Let's talk about engineering, so I can be smart.
all right.
Anyways,
Were there any
Let's do
other
it.
questions on the audit report?
no.
Okay, all right. Review and discuss the budget and set a date for opening. Oh, sorry.
Just a quick question, Matt's not have to go, but is there a way that maybe we could go out of order a little bit and just talk about this purchasing of a utility truck?
Yeah, is everyone all right with that? I'm fine with just jumping to that real fast.
Can we just jump to that?
Purchase of the utility truck?
Yeah.
So I actually talked with Jim, he's still looking, he thinks that we should probably consider we might have to build our own snowplow. So the snowplow dump truck we've got is more than we need. And it would actually be more of a benefit to the town to have a smaller truck with the snowplow that gets better gas mileage, and we can actually do
Get up
on town business, going to different towns, grabbing equipment, things like that. So that truck is a lot more truck than we need for the job. So we're just considering downsizing. That's what the purchasing is about.
So you would
It's
sell,
not conducive to plowing, like, say, this parking lot, or even down to the cemetery and do a decent, clear job.
Without destroying everything.
Without, yeah. And so he ends up
so it's a
using
bulldozer instead of a.
his own little plow on the front of his,
And he can't get up hills, he can't
You
get
know.
up some hills with it, right?
and
Yeah.
it's kind of high to, and this is another thing, it's high that our backhoe, our backhoe was to dig a grave, it can't reach up as high as that truck is. So if we had a lower truck, then we could use our backhoe and not have to hire someone to come and dig a grave.
Do we
Okay, so
have
the
a
idea is to
That's
sell-
another
The idea is
example.
to
We have
sell
that.
the old truck.
We
and
do
then-
have a back
It
Mhm.
is that
Always
idea,
sell
but
it.
we would have to purchase the truck first because we've had so many issues and we don't want to be in a situation where we've tried to get it worked out where we'd be able to sell that one first and have like a deal go through. Jim has been looking for, I don't know, what is it, 6 months
Oh,
to try to
yeah.
find this?
Isn't
And
that why
he's
it's still
gone-
on
He's
the
gone all over the place.
agenda?
So if you're
Yeah.
upside down in the budget,
So,
how would that work?
What we're upside down on the budget
Well,
is categories.
Just numbers.
yeah,
Yeah.
So,
and
it's just
also,
a numbers game.
we discussed it at the last meeting, that truck is worth, what that truck is selling for with the mileage and everything is, looking at the numbers and everything, the blue book value, it's worth much more than the
Then
truck
we
we're gonna have
probably
to
need to
purchase.
buy a new
And it
one.
might even, it might even be worth more than if we need to completely build one.
Landscapers
So-
are after that kind of truck.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
and it's been maintained well
And not used a lot, it's low miles.
Yeah.
I mean, not necessarily not
so,
used much.
so it's actually, it's a benefit to the town, and it should actually, you know, we can downsize to a lower asset, so we don't have to have it just sitting there.
And it just sits all summer.
Yeah, and,
Yeah,
you know,
it does, see, and there's so many things, like say, with the cemetery. It could function, it could go on the errands that he needs to go on to get parts, say, so to speak, you know, something of that nature, that's kind of an all-around utility truck.
Okay, well, that's what I was just curious about.
Mhm.
We need to go, so I'm so
All right.
sorry.
Well, thanks for coming.
yes, thank you very much for coming to the
So,
meeting and.
does that
seeing it.
complete the discussion on the,
Utility truck.
Yeah, is
We
there-
had some more.
Yeah, the only thing Jim said that he would like us to consider whether, you know, it might be worth building our own, everything, you know, like getting a truck, putting a plow on it, put as much trouble as he's had finding
yeah,
one.
especially
Finding
because
one with a plow.
those utility trucks we're looking for used, like, it's almost impossible to find one that's like decent mileage.
Yeah,
I mean, you're like 200,000+ miles and these things are wore out, so.
Mhm.
Unless it's a diesel with the right kind of engine.
The diesel, the right kind of engine, it's gonna be expensive.
Yeah, they're wanted.
So just barely, I seen
That's all.
in Centerville, there was a truck that would work great for this. It was a 2009 Chevy, 129,000 miles. They wanted $28,000 for it still. Like, to me, that's ridiculous.
Totally.
It's still a crappy time to buy a truck, really.
It is, yeah.
But it's a great time to sell one. I like how.
So we're
Yeah.
kind of in a,
Yeah,
Okay,
and
we were just curious what that was, so.
especially during the winter, my concern was, well, if we sell this, we sell our plow, like, we're gonna have to hire someone to plow the streets. And that's really expensive, which
That
we've
is.
done before. We hired Faust to do it and it costs a fortune. So we're kind of in the limbo of, well, we really need to find a truck so we can sell it, so we're not caught between with no truck and no plow. But maybe during the summer, it's not a big deal, I don't know.
We need to talk about that because the insurance, the liability, and the workman's comp for having him plow and do some of that stuff is extremely high.
But it would probably be the same with a smaller truck, wouldn't it?
smaller.
Oh, we should
Are you talking the
probably,
size of the truck?
Nope, I'm talking about just the activity. They don't care what vehicle they drive, they care about the activity. And
So how
Well, yeah,
much
that's
roughly
true.
per month, do you know?
we have not, I just know from other businesses, and when you're getting out in the labor, and when you're going above 12 feet in the air, anything above 12 feet is highly expensive. Anything going down more than 4 feet, 4 feet or down is really high because the liability for death and dismemberment and
Yeah.
is high, and that's the same thing. So that's what I'm saying with what we were paying fouls. We don't have any liability, we don't have any insurance, we don't have any workman's comp that has to go up for any of that. So that's why I just wanted to weigh it, not
Yeah.
say,
I
not say
think
that it's bad,
We
just
we
weigh
definitely
it.
should see the numbers and weigh it.
And I can
think the
call them.
one time they plowed, wasn't it like $1,200?
I thought that was for, I
No,
thought that was for
that
like,
was 2
2 months, so there was like several times.
Yeah, I think getting the numbers and comparing would be.
Cause I can call workman's comp and stuff and just ask for some kind of percentages and stuff so that we can have actual apples and apples to look at is all I was interested in
Yeah.
And
doing.
you probably
That'd
could,
be
you
a
don't
good
use the
idea.
truck in the summer very much, you could probably alter that and just drop the insurance.
Yeah, he just used
You
it to
can't,
go on errands.
it goes off, that you have to have it year round and they go off the salary, the pay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a smaller truck is reasonable just because then he could use
You
it
can use
for,
it for.
so right now, we can't use our backhoe in the cemetery because we don't have a dump truck the backhoe can reach in. So we have to hire someone, even though we have a backhoe to dig graves. So it would actually allow us to use our own backhoe to dig graves and do
our own
cemetery work
operator
or whatever. And
So,
yeah, so
Sense
it's
could have
limiting
said,
in a
say,
way.
we know we can sell this one.
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
For sure, right now, especially.
It's just that we can't now.
Can't replace it. All right, thank you, everybody.
Thanks for
Thanks.
coming. You being patient with all my questions. It's
All right.
like I
Thanks for
learned
Thanks
something.
for coming, see you next meeting.
All right, we'll see you. Remind me in advance, I'll get the word out.
All right, awesome. Okay, we are on item 6, review and discuss the budget and set a date for opening and amending the budget. I think it would probably be good to try to schedule it next meeting.
Well, can we do it all in that? Are you guys comfortable with just doing that, or did you want a work meeting in advance? Should we just do a public hearing for next March?
I'd rather not have 2 meetings.
I would too,
Yeah.
with everything I've got going on.
I mean,
You know, 'cause we can always do it
why we
again.
can't scribble some figures in here tonight?
No, and we
I
can,
mean,
well, we can't
should we-
really discuss without having an open, and unless it's another work meeting, but.
We can throw something around.
But I just think if you take this and we see where we're kind of off, and we also need to know how much the state paid us for the firefighters, so that we can make sure that jives with what we paid them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then we need to make sure that that's
those numbers
included in the
first.
income, because that's not in here. But you know, if we have to open up it again in May, we can
That's
do
not
it.
in, this was printed on the 14th of January.
February.
Well, of the one I was scribbling on.
Oh, yeah, that one was from last month, so yeah, but I've just changed some of the figures. I went through and when Chris first started, she didn't notice that it didn't keep when she went to do another entry, and so some of them went in duplicate, instead of being changed on the account number, so I fixed all those that were not in the right accounts. Does that make sense?
Oh, okay, now say that again, I'm sorry.
So,
I was
since January 14th,
Yeah.
I've gone in and I've corrected any checks that weren't to the right account. And so-
checks that were written.
Yeah,
Oh,
so if there's checks or
That's
something
what
that
I
were
didn't
posted to the wrong place, they're now fixed. And so this one I've given you tonight.
Oh,
So
okay.
if we go through and make some quick notice changes or whatever on next meeting, if we need to do it again on May, I don't see why we can't. If we have something that somebody's, oh wait, I forgot this, or something like that, I'm just saying. We just don't wanna wait till June 30th and be like,
That's what
oh.
I'm getting at. Our goal is to kind of maybe open it now and get this done and then have another, another.
Well, that would,
End of June like normal.
that would ultimately be good, but sometimes things surprise us, but
I'd say let's do it in the meeting, let's put it on the agenda, and
For next
maybe the
meeting,
bulk of the
Maybe
meeting
that's
could be the
the only
budget.
thing that gets put on. the
Yeah,
agenda.
I mean, maybe
Yeah.
we don't load it up with other things that maybe can wait till the next meeting.
I think that's a good idea. I'd rather do that than a
Yeah,
work
and
meeting. I just wanted to
kind
be
of
able to
thought
present
that's
that.
what we were doing.
Yeah. I
That way
think
we
that's
can
good.
give the 7-day, we'll even do 10-day notice that we're opening the budget. We're gonna discuss the budget. Somebody has something, come out and see. And, cause in that point too, I would also like to ask, Polaris has created it, a category for cemetery wages. We did not have that. That was always under parks. And so they've got it there, but they're
Cemetery
wages.
okay.
There is nothing in there yet because we have not voted to be okay with it, but they put that in there so that we can just kind of try to gear around, yeah, and just kind of,
Just include.
Yeah.
just have a better view of what, how we're doing on it, but, I just want to pay close attention so that we don't get dinged. I know we don't get arrested or anything when they ding us, but I would like to not be done.
Well, I've got a badge, so you can.
And I don't want to be on hold again. But the other thing that, well, I guess I'll wait for my turn. I guess it has to do with the budget. So our revenue on taxes. Did any of you guys know, Yvonne and Heather and I learned this at that one class. Remember that? If we don't set an amount, a percentage for our property taxes every year, so say 2 years ago it was 0.07% or whatever,
Yeah.
the reason our tax rate changes on the property tax form is because if we don't set something in a meeting and announce it and vote on it, then, so like we want it to be 0.007% every year.
We've done that every year.
We haven't, we didn't do it last year, and we didn't do it the year before. 21, we didn't do it, or
No,
21,
yes, we did.
60 did, yeah, there was one, I couldn't remember when, but, so what happens is the previous year, whatever you voted on, and then
Right.
if you got $40,000, that's all you're gonna get. So right now, the last 2 years, how property values went up, our taxes will stay exactly what they were when they were lower, because we did not vote to keep that same rate. Does that make sense?
Well, the same rate, but if,
They don't keep the same rate, it's the same amount. So if 2021, we
I
got,
thought that every time we've looked at it, it was always a rate, so how could it be?
it's always a rate, because that
Okay.
figures out to be a rate. So if they've upped the values by 30%, or they probably did 15%.
Who's they, the county?
The assessor, County assessor, yeah. If the county assessor has upped our taxes, our values of our homes, which they did.
Right.
If in 2021, 2022, okay, 2021, because 2022 is when they went up, right, good. So 2021, if we received,
It was like
property taxes, $8,600, then that's all we're going to get for 2022, even though the value of the property went up. So where we could have had an influx of income, we missed out, because, so if we were 0.074 or whatever in 21,
So they would have actually changed that to whatever it equates to percentage. It would have went
Yes.
to 0.0025 or something.
exactly, and so
Automatically,
we
you
missed
know.
out.
Yeah, he made that very clear in that meeting that night, that we have to make sure that that gets done every year, because we are losing out on thousands of dollars.
And I think we have to have it done
Well,
by
we've done it
November
every year.
30th.
Last year would be the only one.
We
Well,
missed-
and there was so much that meeting was not fun. We had Justin on the phone, Heather, no,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm mixing your names up, Yvonne, you had,
Yeah,
you had so much going on. And Heather stuck around until midnight just so we could vote on it with the majority. Justin was on a business trip, Cindy had to not be here. That
That
meeting
gets sent to us
was,
by the town,
that meeting was not.
What?
that form, because we have to sign it and send it back.
I never saw anything last year.
Cannot be.
Well, we'll just make
So
sure.
we
I just wanna
very,
do
very
it.
clear and very, very
Yeah.
sure
Yeah.
that when that comes in, that is on the next agenda and it is dealt with appropriately,
Appropriate, yeah.
so
There's
that
no
we are
question.
not losing out on that
I
money.
just can't.
Okay.
And I don't know if they send it out like in November when everybody pays their taxes. That's what I'll have to ask.
No,
I
don't think so.
I don't
So
know.
if we specify
Because I think
it
it'd
more
take them-
on that amount, does it increase the tax burden on the citizens, or does it
Yes,
just
it
give us
does.
more
Yes.
money?
It does. That's why we have to do the public hearing. We have to open it up, we have to send out.
So why did my property tax go up, but we still didn't get more
The
money?
county's getting it.
The county
The
gets it,
counties
we
get
don't.
it, and the school districts.
We should
Yep.
get everything that
Yeah,
we're.
School
So
districts and the
that's why
bonds,
they
they
were
just
saying
up.
that you have to make sure that this is done every single year, because if you don't, the money goes to the
Yeah.
county and to the
Well, I
school
know.
districts and
Well,
everybody,
stress that.
it does
But
not
if we-
come back to the
If
town.
we increase our amount, at what point does it not increase the taxes for the town? Because it doesn't make sense to me.
I think it's,
If we don't increase our amount, we get less money, but our taxes, we still pay on the increased amount, the county gets the difference?
Well, we don't get less money. We get the exact same amount as the previous year.
Okay,
And
so if,
So-
let's say we set it at 2%, that increases the tax for the,
well, I think what
If the
or
happens
does
is,
the county get less?
If
Because
the
they
property,
don't-
no, it goes all off of the 50% of the property value. So they have that calculation where for primary residence, you get, the taxable value is like 54% of the actual, what they've appraised your home to be, what they decided the value of your home is. And so that will increase for the people, that's why we have to do the public hearing, but we have to explain to them. That's why in 2022, it was like 0.6 something instead of 0.7, because,
So we were allotted to get everything to 0.06, but if we don't specify that we want that much, the county gets the rest.
So they-
above
it's
that
like
amount,
just-
it would increase the taxes for the
because
town.
they go off whatever the property value, so if property values drop, and we say we want 7% or 0.7%, whatever, what, I can't remember the what
So
it
do
is.
they specify that amount? They give us the amount that we can be the 100% allotted to the town amount?
Yeah,
And how
if we
do that?
tell them that we voted this rate in, and we went through all the steps with the public hearing and everything, and notified all the public that this is what we're doing, then yes, we will get that percentage. So if they raise the house's value of 10% or whatever, we will get increase of rate. So I think in the last 2 years, values jumped, like what they do, 16%, there was something, I know my house is like, I can't believe they appraised it like that, but whatever houses we're selling.
so is it like they collect the money and they only pay us what we've told them to pay them in the last year?
Well-
Otherwise they default on the
Or
previous.
well, what they do, if we don't tell them we want to stay at the same rate, say the same percentage rate, then we get the same dollar amount, and that drops our percentage rate down because the property values went up. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but they're, like, for example, everyone still is paying the same amount, but it's just staying in the county's hands. rather than
Yes.
coming to the town like it's
Yes.
supposed
Right.
to.
So
Yep.
how are we supposed to know at what percentage we can maximize our allotment from the county?
You can only go up a certain percentage based on what it was in the previous year, so there's a calculation, but we have to open it up with public hearing. So I'll get with the county, the state auditor too, and find out, because I
mean, we don't want the county taking our money, if that's.
No, and we don't want-
100% of our allotment.
we don't
so
want
can pay for our
the percentage to keep going down just because they're raising property values, because then they get all the difference in the funds. It's like,
That's ridiculous.
but we don't want to kill our residents, but we want them to understand, okay, we should have kept it at the 0.07% or whatever, I can't remember what it was. And now it's dropped because of this, we just need to set it so that the town gets their allotted money on the straight percentage, not.
Agreed.
So anyway, that was just, I just wanted to bring that up, because I ran across some of that in my notes, and I'm like, oh, we need to make that our notation so that we know to watch for that, because I didn't see anything come in the mail on that, but anyway.
Can you get a hold of them and find out when that comes out?
Yep, and find out, so that we can,
And I imagine-
because we'll need to
Make sure we
start
have it
ahead
listed
in
already.
advance to have the public hearings and
Well,
everything.
it's passed on in, when we do the budget.
The budget in June.
Yeah,
So
we'll
when
pass
you
it.
talk to
We
them,
may
can you
get it.
get the calculation? I'd like to know how they calculated it. Percentage of this times this, whatever.
Oh, yeah, I can tell you on that, I can, if you have your property tax
Yeah.
notice, I'll tell you, I can show you, but I
How
don't,
much the town can
Mhm.
ask for allotment from the county?
yeah. Because it says it right on your property tax notice, but I will find out what we're restricted to going up, how much to
Yeah.
go up,
Yeah.
yeah.
How much can we go up to without increasing taxes to ourselves, essentially?
Yeah,
I mean, honestly,
Well-
I don't know, maybe this is a
well,
little
let's see,
teeny sliver of Democrat in me, but I think we should
Just
have a little higher taxes and pay for a town employee, that's my opinion, but that's a side point, so.
well, our Magi is higher than St. George, can you believe that?
That's still,
That's crazy.
I know, that's
It's
ridiculous.
Well, it is.
all right.
Anyway,
Was there any other, is everyone okay with just setting the next meeting to be the budget hearing?
Yep,
Sounds
sounds good to me.
Okay. All right,
And let's keep the rest of the business to a minimum, so
yeah,
we're not here
anything,
till midnight.
anything we can
Yeah,
put off, let's put off.
This,
next meeting, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I-
All right. Okay, item 8, discussion and vote on replacing outside lighting on the fire department building.
Was it the
Should
fire?
we have,
Oh,
we
it was
did that last one?
So
Oh,
that one was still left open, so I didn't know if I should take it off, it was unclear.
wasn't it that we didn't have an exact dollar amount, is that what it was?
No, we had
No,
it down,
we had
she
it
had it
all.
all, it was
We
right
didn't
here.
Okay.
officially table it.
Except,
oh, that's what it is, we didn't officially table it.
Or,
well, we didn't table it, we passed it, because I just read it.
Oh, no,
Just
No,
minutes.
no, you passed other things, but you didn't pass this. 'cause
it was lighting on the maintenance and park, see.
It
So
was-
we dismissed the vote replacing lighting on the maintenance and
well,
park
wait,
building.
we didn't actually need to vote on it because it was gonna come out of the fire department
Yeah,
budget.
so that's a null and void.
Okay, so yeah,
Yeah,
so just, okay, and I should have caught this one,
And
sent out earlier.
that's why I sent it, I hope you
Yeah.
guys read it, you can save this, you can take
Yeah,
numbers.
I did see it, and I just didn't, I was
You're good.
remembering the situation wrong.
So did we purchase the lights then?
yeah, we got them,
Okay.
actually, we got them.
I never heard back on who was in install them or
Well,
whatever the
he's still
question
trying,
was.
I talked to him, and, he's had a hard time trying to get somebody to do it.
Can I
Or
We're
Jim
waiting
or-
for somebody to come
Jim
out.
or?
Jim.
Oh, okay, so we're
Yeah.
just trying to get an
Yeah, we
electrician.
just
to
buy
come
the
in.
lights from Central Electric. And I may have misled you a little because Central Electric,
Yeah, cause I thought they were gonna install
Works.
them.
has come and delivered us some lights. And, well, it was just one and he put it up for us, so, you know.
He did?
Yeah.
Oh my word, because they're usually just deliver it and
Yeah,
you do your own
they're out
stuff.
there, but anyway. So,
Wow.
but yeah, he's working on it, but he hasn't been able to find anybody. And then somebody, he didn't say who, was promised to come out, and they haven't been here yet.
Yeah,
So I
it's-
mentioned Lowell Draper if he had contacted him, and I haven't heard back from him on this.
Yeah, Lowell's the one
Okay,
that-
cause I just thought whoever got the lights from would
Yes, he
install
is.
it.
He's not, he doesn't, work with him anymore.
No, I mean, he does it on his own.
I-
He still works on
Yeah,
his own.
you might have
And
more time
see,
finding
Flo
anybody.
and Central Electric were very close, and I really think that's why
Yeah.
now I'm gonna
Oh.
go Flores. I
Alright.
don't know. Because Flo's always been.
Okay.
So we're still waiting,
So moving
so
on.
so we don't,
They're not up yet.
they're not up
You
yet.
have the lights.
No,
But
but
we
we don't
don't-
like, see invoices are in on my desk.
Right, but we don't, so we need to,
So the only thing I can do is just let you know what it's gonna be, and, you know, that just kinda goes along with buying stuff, you gotta have,
Yeah, weird, yeah.
too bad we can't talk Ken into doing it, but I think he retired from anything like
Who?
Ken Christensen. He was an electrician
Alright. Well, so
over by the dam.
if everyone's all right, we'll go on to item 9, so we're not here too late.
Yes, please.
Report of officers. Justin, what do you have?
Two things mainly. One, the water system looks good. February 13th, we barely hit our overflow, so everybody must have been showering for preparation for Valentine's Day. It looks good, no complaints there. The second thing is Yvonne contacted us earlier this, or maybe it was me and Keenan, I don't know, and said that she thinks that, or maybe it was Jim said she thinks Dave possibly has a leak on the leak detector. I went over and talked to him and he said, yeah, it's leaking again, so contacted Joel, asked him if he would come over and look at it. From the previous fix, when he went in, he didn't know what the leak entailed because nobody had been in the house. And so when he went in and saw, he didn't have all the stuff to fix it, but he was able to fix it enough to stop the leak, and he thought that it would probably work, and obviously it didn't. So I told him, we want it fixed, we don't want the problem anymore, and he said he'll come. I actually talked to him again before the meeting. He said that his sister passed away,
Yeah,
so
I
he
was
didn't
just
have a
gonna
chance to
say
come
that.
until, it will likely be Monday or Tuesday next week, so.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Also, did you get my email about Jim? And
I did, yeah.
So I wanted to know your opinion on that. So Jim says that he's happy to do most of the work associated with the water master. He says he doesn't do good on tests. He's happy to do like most of this work and everything, but he doesn't feel comfortable being the contact point for the town as far as water is, and he's not saying he's not doing most of the water duties, which in my discussions with Scott, I think that's where the bulk of the pay for the water master was because of everything else they had to do, digging up water meters.
Yeah.
He's happy to do that. He just isn't.
He doesn't want to be the
He
water
isn't-
master.
Yeah, he thinks that he's the wrong person to actually be doing, like, I guess, the bookkeeping side of it.
Yeah, so this one, the more I study on it, because I'm supposed to be taking the test, I really can't afford or don't want to afford going to a class for 3 days and use my vacation to do it. Maybe that's a bad approach or a bad view, but, so I've been studying. I actually have a friend that's a water master in Ephraim. He's a level 5, which is the highest you can get. He gave me his materials and I've been studying. But the more I learn about it, the more I'm concerned about being certified for water and having someone else do the actions for it. And the reason is because the liability would be on whoever is doing the test.
And the town.
Having the certification and everything. And then, if the person doing the work makes a mistake, the liability is on someone else. I don't mind going through and doing that to be, on the town, but I think it really boils down to, we need someone to be the water master. That's my opinion. And I would like to do it, but I have to be honest, I don't really have the time.
Do you have any
Personally,
suggestions?
my suggestion right now would be Preston Down. That's my friend, he's the water master for Ephraim. He's said that he would come do it for us. We could probably pay him a minimal amount.
We did that with Manti's water master one time.
And there's
for
someone in
period
Mayfield that's
of time,
rigged as well. So
For that very reason.
I don't know. I'm still considering what the future holds, for me and how busy things are. And my concern is that I won't be able to spend the time to do it right. And if I do it, I want to do it right. And so I don't mind taking the test and covering things for a while, but I really think we need to gear for having someone to be the water master that's certified themselves and, you know, pulls the water for the tests, watches over the system, does the audits. That's the correct way to do it.
And I've got a question. So you're saying that like the water master has to be doing a lot of these things. In what capacity would Jim be able to assist the water master with it?
He could do meters and stuff, that's okay, but
Yeah.
pulling the samples, you know,
Like he's
checking,
been doing, I can keep track of that for him.
yeah, checking the chlorinator and stuff like that, those are things that the water master has the liability for and the certification is required for. Really, you know, if something gets messed up with the chlorinator, the liability of harm to people is high. And that's something that I
We would
kind of
have a
don't feel
lawsuit.
comfortable having someone else do that, even though I think Jim would be okay. But,
Yeah.
you know, what if he has a bad day and then all of a sudden I'm going to jail because we were using my certification for Jim to check the water? That to me is a little bit fishy, or not fishy, but uncomfortable, I guess.
And I think that Jim would completely understand that too.
Yeah, and
Well,
honestly,
that's why he's bringing it up, because he does that.
we might need to just say, you know what, Jim, just go to the class and you'll take the test and you'll be fine. I know that Scott's told him that a bunch of
Oh, a
times.
bunch
Jim's a
of
smart
times.
guy, he can do it, he just needs to go do it. Would he
And
do
I
a great
really
job?
honestly
Yeah, I
think
think he would, he has been, he's learned the ropes really. And a lot of the test, from what I understand, is what he's doing.
Yeah.
Like,
he
So,
is.
So he knows that he's just afraid of testing.
he's
one
afraid
of
to
the-
take the test.
Yeah.
And so,
A lot of people do.
I have test
I
anxiety.
can hold one hand
Uh-huh.
and you can hold his other hand.
I guess the sum or the conclusion of what I'm saying is we really need to either encourage Jim to do it or gear towards having someone be the water master. And I'll be honest, if you want me to do it, I probably won't run for council next because I just don't think I can do both and be good. I think I spend a limited amount of time on council now and it makes me a subpar council member in some ways. And I don't like that because I like to do a good job at what I do. And I don't feel like I could do a good job of a water master and a town council and a dad and 2 jobs and
Without
everything
being
else
full,
going
yeah.
on. So I apologize if that's not the right answer, but that's how I feel about it. I really like being over the water as a town council member though, and I hope that I can continue that.
Continue that.
And like I said, I don't mind taking the test, but for me, it would be a temporary gap between Jim doing the work right now and getting someone
If
for.
Preston would do that, it's
Yeah.
not something out of the norm for us to.
And
We've done
he
it.
doesn't have to be permanent, but
No.
he's an option that he would do it. He's expressed to me before that he would do it for us. There's also someone certified in Mayfield that's close that we
Yeah.
could look at.
And
I'm
we
sure
have
Amanda
till
has
April,
someone.
right? I remember Scott said we had till April.
I think so. So yeah, that's just my thoughts. I still have the materials and have been looking at the test stuff. That's all I'll say
I'll talk
about
to
my
Jim.
endeavors there, I guess.
I'll talk to Jim and just let him know that due to liability reasons, we would have to hand that off to someone else, make sure he.
Yeah, and
You know, and I'll tell him that like even if he fails, we'll pay for him to go and take the test and stuff.
they'll put him through the class and they'll
Yeah,
go
I
through the test and how to do the questions, so I think he would be fine, but,
All right, well,
you know, if he
I'll talk to
doesn't
him.
want to, then, you know, I don't know,
But he could at least try,
he could give it a try.
give it a try.
I mean, it would be an awesome feather in his hat to
It
be a certified water operator.
Okay, well, I'll talk to him unless you want to, and then we'll,
The Mayfield guy would be closer.
Yeah, Preston's out this way a lot, because he comes out of the
Oh.
farm, but it doesn't
Oh,
matter
yeah,
to me.
that's right.
I just think we
I
need
didn't
someone
even know
that's certified by the state to
yeah.
do it. And could we continue with what we're doing right now for a little longer? I think we're probably okay. But permanently, I don't feel like it's a good solution to have a council member certified and an employee doing the work where the liability is a little bit weird. Like, You know what I mean? Does anyone
Okay,
else
is
want to
there-
volunteer to certify and how you like
Is there
it?
certain times,
Completely
is there
understandable.
certain times you can take the test?
So there's certain times that the class is offered, that the test is available, but you can have the test proctored at your house. In fact, Kurt can come to your house and proctor the test for you. But what Jim wouldn't get is the ability to go through the class if Kurt came to his house. So could Kurt, teach Jim the stuff? Yes. In
Yes.
fact, I asked Kurt to do that for me, but I never saw any materials or anything, and maybe Kurt's just busy or wasn't interested in me doing it, I don't know. So I went with other routes to get information and study material. So anyways, that's kind of two things.
Okay, well, I'll talk to Jim, I'll keep everyone informed on that, and, I'm not sure if he's willing to take the test. It sounded like he was really worried about it when I talked to him, but I'm sure that he would absolutely not have an issue with us going in that direction.
Yeah, I mean, really, it would be the two
Nobody
things, the
would
water
know if
samples.
you didn't pass it, you know.
Right.
We'll
Yeah.
just have him do it again, you know what I'm saying?
I think we should strongly encourage him
Strongly
to
encourage
try
him.
it,
I do too.
because likely he'll pass and be just fine, and then, he'll be happy about it.
Yeah.
You'll probably be the better person to talk to him.
I'll talk to him.
about encouraging him. I mean, I'm willing to, but, it does come down to, I don't know a lot of that stuff, and that's gonna show. Like, I can express my confidence in him to do it, but since I don't know anything about it, that's about where I have
Yeah.
to stop.
Yeah, sure, I'll talk to him.
Okay, awesome. And there is one more thing on, the water. Tyler Timmons called me right before the meeting.
Shoot, yeah, I actually had that too. I talked to him also, but go ahead.
Yeah, he just said that, so the Department of Drinking Water does not have any money to give out grants. They're supposed to be reopening that next month is when Tyler thinks it is. And at that point, we'll know if they have money to work with these grants or not. And he said if they do not at that point, then he'll work with us on getting a CIB grant for the water master plan.
Yeah, he said they've run out of funding for this legislative session, so we have to wait till next to put
Yeah.
out our application. Yep, so, good, thanks for reminding me, because I had that written down and forgot about it, so.
All right, anything else on water or roads?
No, I think we're good. Did Jim ever buy the asphalt?
Yes.
I think he did, but it's been so wet and
Yeah,
frozen and icy
he
that
says
we haven't
he
put it on
wants
yet, so, good.
Yeah. All right, so, Yvonne, what do you have
Okay,
for us?
I was just gonna check something. I think there's I think tomorrow with.
There is on the online
Online
training for the
with
CIB.
CIB. Anybody got any ideas what we can use the CIB for?
So I was gonna wait for this till the fire department,
Okay.
thing. Since it was brought up, I've asked Nick, he called me a little while ago and I asked him what his thoughts were on the new fire department. And I mentioned last time he kinda wanted to talk to us and he would want community involvement. And he's still not sure if we'd be able to do it without some contribution for like Palisades or areas that we cover that we don't get any tax money for. But he said that he wanted to be here today, he wasn't able to. And he said that next council meeting, he would really like to have a chance to present to us the information on what we would have to do to move forwards. So if we don't end up using the CIB for the water master plan, and we can have the water project, and we can have as many projects on there as we want. And it's just whichever one we follow through on.
Could the sprinkling system for the park be on the CIB, or does it not qualify?
It probably could.
I think if we're gonna put everything we think we can on there, I think that one should be, because it was like $30,000 or
Yeah.
something like that.
Well, and Jim's qualified to, I mean, he used to do that for a living,
Yeah,
put it in, but I don't know how that would.
that's just one that comes to mind, that
Yeah,
if
yeah,
we're gonna
that's
put
a good
anything,
one. That's
we
good.
should set it on.
Yeah, and so we should be fine just putting in as many projects as we want to do, and if we get the Department of Drinking Water doing that, then we're fine. If we decide that we can't we need more time to get the fire department, yeah, and see, that could be something. There's, if everyone wants to email me a list, I'm the person that has to fill it out. But, you know, it really, all it is them asking the projects. We can have as many projects on there as we want. They just don't want us to tell them that we want funding for more than one of them. But that's like another 3 months down the road that they'll ask us which one we want to go forward with.
Okay.
So
Nick's
there'd
gonna
be,
come next time on the fire station stuff then?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was wondering if Heather had anything else on that.
So, how many people do we have in town?
276 at last census.
That actually live inside
no,
city limits?
there's actually 375, 76 ward members.
But they're not in our town. The town.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, the town
So
pauper
the town
on the census
I think.
says 276
Oh,
on
two.
like
Oh, I
2020.
said 300.
So,
No,
Nick and I sat down one night and counted, figured it out. We serve more people in the unincorporated areas around us than we actually do in town.
Wow.
So, all that revenue that's outside of city limits, that, we don't get that
what do you mean?
from,
The
They're
$5?
not funding our
They're not
Yeah.
funded.
our fire department at all, and Manti even says they won't cover anyone outside of Manti.
yeah, they
So
won't
we're actually
pass
picking up
John
the
Lowry.
slack from a bigger fire station.
So the county doesn't give us any allotment for,
Is that
They
the
give us,
$5?
don't they give us like a little bit, but it's like so
Nick
small.
can explain it all to you a
Yeah.
lot better than I can.
It's a little more complicated, and Nick and I have both talked to county commissioners about this.
Yeah.
yeah, maybe we need to go to the
We
county
are
and say,
losing.
we're gonna stop covering your
Yeah.
people unless you give us more money.
Didn't Nick say we have to look south instead of north? Like, he was saying that north this morning.
Yeah, and see, like Nick knows this backwards and forwards, and I
Oh,
can't even
upside
do
down
it
and
justice.
upside down.
Well, he's been doing
But
it
he's
for 20
been,
years
he's
or
been
better.
looking to a solution for this for such a long time. And, you know, even with him saying it would really help if they pick up the slack and stuff, he is absolutely against us not covering people in the unincorporated. And, you know, he brings up, he's like, you know, if someone's trapped in their car between here and Manti won't go help them. Are we gonna tell them that the Gunnison Fire Department has to go get them, or Mayfield? So
And in the
he
meantime,
absolutely,
they die?
yeah, he absolutely does not want us to do that,
No,
but at the same time,
At the same
like,
time.
we're picking up slack where
How
Manti
much
isn't.
per household, like on the outer grid, would we need to pay?
I don't know, and I'll
Well,
bet you that.
and it's just
I
like
thought you already
Wales
paid
Fire
at the-
Department won't even go to a fire,
That's
say
like
for example,
$5.
they won't even go to a fire that's in Mount Pleasant in Alpine. I mean, it's,
Well, so that's the problem, is we can't ask you to pay because it would have to go through the county and then be audited to us, right?
Yep.
So,
Mm-hmm. So I have no control even on the outer rim.
Yeah,
No.
so there is one way that fire departments in California do this, and they bill the insurance. And I've talked to Nick about this as well, and he is absolutely against that.
Oh,
The last thing you want to do to people is when their house is burning down, make them worried about calling 911.
Right.
oh gosh,
make
no.
them worry about calling them, so they
Yeah,
don't
so like,
call
if they're gonna
911.
get the bill from the fire
Get the
department and
bill
their
from the
insurance
fire
is gonna go
department.
up, that's what California's been doing, is just another
We
way to
definitely don't want to do anything.
steal from people, in my
Right.
opinion.
So basically what it kind of boils down to is we gotta get the county to allow us to do a regional area fee and have them pass something on the county side that says if we service this outlying area or this county area, then we can be,
Yeah,
either
right.
they can pay us
Can
for it
we
or we
charge
can
the
pay the
county?
$5.
I
don't know.
From what I
We'll just have to
understand, this
wait
is
and
like a
get all the details
statewide
from Nick,
conversation.
Because I only.
Yeah, the county has to do something to allow
Tells me
us.
all this stuff all at once, and I'm like,
This
geez,
makes
dude,
me angry.
send me an email.
This is
Yeah.
not fair.
It's a question for Nick, for sure.
Right.
But on the county side, you know, they service us with the sheriff's department, and we don't pay them anything either. So
No.
there's some give and
That's
take
true.
there that, I don't know.
That's true.
Yeah.
And I remember they telling us like how much we should allot
So,
to get contract support from the sheriff's office, and there is no way we could afford what it would take. And so
we could they could gift the fire
They've been
department.
here, I mean-
Anybody can gift the fire department something to the town for the fire department. You can dictate what you're gifting the money to. So we can let people know if you want to gift $10 or $20 a year, or, something, just it'll reiterate that this is for the fire department, and that's where it will be.
Could we-
Then in like a CIB
So-
grant or something that
so
we have to
probably-
pay back, we actually have to have proof that we can collect.
Probably get long for this, but could we just increase the water bill and put it some towards the fire?
We
How'd you
brought,
like that, Chris?
so I talked to Nick about that as well. I said, well, we do provide water to people outside.
It's
And
only
he
a
brought up the
though.
concern,
That's
yeah,
the
he brought up the
problem.
concern of how it was last time it got increased, and also it would be putting so much higher burden on the people that have water when it's hardly anyone out of town.
Exactly, yeah, you're picking like this small fraction of how many you're actually in the
Yeah,
work.
but like,
Fire district. Yeah.
that would be one way that we could get some kind of funding outside of town for people we service.
That doesn't make
I think
sense.
that's the only avenue we actually have
But
on that
it's,
right now.
I
don't
think if
that
most
works.
people knew, I had no idea. I'm willing to pay.
Yeah, and like I said, Nick said that there's no way this is gonna work without community involvement.
Yeah.
So I'm interested in how he thinks we can go about that.
I'll just start telling everyone I know that's on the outer rim.
That would be awesome. All right, sorry, Yvonne, though, we kinda went off, we're still on you.
Oh, okay. I had someone call when I was down here one day from, excuse me, from Stockton that wanted to know if we had any place, see they could bring a group for 3 or 4 days. I said, sure, we got a big park. How big? Got a lot of grass, got this, got that. Yeah, sure. And at the time, I didn't know that it was sounds like it's a church group, but he wanted to know how much, And I says, well, I went to the rates, and I think it was like $20 a day or something.
Oh, that's nice.
So, and then as the conversation got, going and so forth, it is a church group. And they wanted a service project to do while they were here. So he had sent me a check. He sent a check for $100. So this is my question. Do we send it back and not charge them, especially if they're gonna do a service project? And we need to be thinking of a service project.
Oh, take the money and give them a service project.
Buy them ice cream or something, I guess.
No, they sometimes do that at Cedar Crest, a whole family reunion or a church group, and they don't get everything free. So if you rent the building, I would say $350.
Yeah, well, see, they can use probably mostly that building. See, we had one of these a couple of years ago.
Wait, so what bathroom facilities?
They use those bathroom
They do?
facilities. This one wasn't even open to
Did
us.
you say $20 a day?
Uh-huh.
I would do $350 to $400.
A day?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Otherwise, you're gonna get some people that are gonna just thrash the place, and they're not gonna care. Trust me.
No, I don't.
Yeah,
$20 a day is a joke.
Well, that's just what it was, and that's what I told them.
$350.
And we charged that before.
And then you give them a service project.
Yeah.
I think-
definitely
I've been
looks
in the
like we need
business
to
like
look
my
at
whole
some
life.
of our rental rates, probably,
Well, we
Yeah.
can't really redo that now,
yeah.
but we can think of a service, we need to think of a service project.
Wonder how good they are putting sprinkling systems in.
I don't know, we'll be ready by then. This is the first week in June, I believe.
Oh, I know that, there's been church, even young men, young women, their super activities and different things that have come down, and somebody's told them about Dan and Kathy's portion on the Gunnison Reservoir, and they have just gone in there and totally trashed it and not even paid, and now they've locked it because, they just don't care because there's no responsibility, so I'm kind of thinking like Chris is saying, we only charge $20 a day to use this building?
That's not gonna cover the
Not this
utilities.
building.
Oh,
Over
Well,
there.
that- I mean,
Oh,
that
that
was
building.
the
Park
toilet paper.
related.
oh, the park, not the building?
So I think that there's
Okay.
a little bit to think about here. I mean, I imagine that rate really was given around the idea that maybe somebody in the community wants to bring their family over and do something at the park,
Well,
right?
if it's someone in the community, that's fine, but if
Correct.
it's people outside of our county
Yeah,
or
so-
community, I would charge them a lot.
I think we need to consider that. If
Well,
it's
we
a
need
big
to
group
consider
coming
that.
from out of town, I think they should have a different rate. Because,
Like
you know-
maybe 5 times.
yeah, what if Keenan's family and extended family wanted to come use the park? Like, are we gonna charge
Yeah.
him $350 a day?
Right,
Nobody's gonna
right.
do it, right?
The community people have a different rate that's like.
I
Yeah,
think that's
that's
very
true.
reasonable, personally.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people in Sterling are at the park, but,
Well, they can use it for
Nobody.
free.
They
So-
just do it, you know.
yeah,
They don't do it.
they don't have access to the bathrooms in that.
Oh, true.
So
I guess
Yeah.
nobody would want to stay at the park for 4 days if they lived in Sterling. Maybe they would if the extended.
I don't know, I've got a
anyways,
couple of
something
things
to
I'd like
think
to
about.
They had access, but we've had 2 other groups this way and never had a problem, but you know, not that.
Yeah, well, what if, because we've already given them the rate, I think that it would be wrong if that was our going rate, you know? We want us, you know, just going off of what the rate is that we've agreed on. I don't think there's
They could
anything
use
about
more
that.
water than,
Well, what
That's-
if we just make sure that they understand that we have to charge them for damages that come to the park as a result of them being here,
Yeah.
if they're irresponsible. And then moving forward, we
They
can look at
decide,
these
we could have
rates.
Yeah.
a waiver or
Yeah,
whatever.
because there's a real concern with
Time.
people destroying things.
and does your property insurance cover an injury or something on their part? If they get injured, they can sue the town of Sterling.
Do we have liability insurance for the park?
We don't know.
Especially if they're
I don't-
paying the
I don't
town to
have
rent
anything
it.
specific.
If you're just letting them use it free, that's different, but if they're paying you to rent it and they get injured, you're liable.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's worth $20, I'm so
We'll
sorry.
look that up.
Yeah.
I would
we-
imagine
So when are they
we would
coming?
be Required to have some kind of
I would
liability
think so.
insurance on the park and the equipment.
As a
Well, they might have
municipality.
just for general, but that's why the notices, isn't there notices that said that no skateboarding, no something?
You know, we should definitely.
Well, I know, but once you go down a slide and crack your head open, like, you're using it as intended, but
And you know,
maybe we
people,
need
people
signs
off
that
the highway
say,
come down
use at
there
your own
and have
risk, we're not
snacks
liable for
and
injury
use the
or something.
equipment. I mean, what?
And that's all fine, but when someone actually is renting it and paying you, that's a different liability than if someone just comes to.
Yeah, we'll look it up. We'll look it up and get it.
I will check on the liability insurance.
All right, okay. What else you got, Chris?
When are they coming?
June.
First part of June.
June?
Okay.
So the Memorial Day weekend thing is up.
It'll be after.
Yeah, I meant,
I hope. Yeah,
I meant we
it's
could have
after.
used, yeah.
Okay,
It's after.
all right.
So a project, just kind of be thinking of some project they might could do.
Okay. Do you have anything with the 24th of July? You mentioned you were getting.
Yeah, we
somebody
had
together.
probably 4 or 5 of us here. We discussed maybe using outside vendors. We would have to obtain sales tax, temporary sales tax for them if we did that. And it'd be how many, you know, I don't know the first time around whether we'd have too many. Diane Denton said she could do their food, you know, and that'd just eliminate people that we don't have to help in the kitchen and barbecue hamburgers.
So is the
So-
town providing food for a cost?
Well, no, Diane would do that, she'd just be a vendor.
So we
So
have,
the town wouldn't provide Melanie?
No.
Okay.
Diane
We
would be an
would
outside
offer
vendor, but we
other
have-
food truck people that live
Yeah,
there.
there's a
Yeah,
lot
and
of-
see if we expand up to another food truck, you know, different type of meal, so to speak. Or if anybody wanted to come and sell chocolate strawberries or, you know, stuff like that, have a booth. I know, I wondered if Shayna, because it seems like she talked about it, it's been a couple of years ago. I should have thought to ask her about. Anyway, anybody, you know, wanting to do a booth, they would have to have a temporary sales tax.
Well, it would be up to us.
And, what else did I put?
For a temporary sales tax, we would have to petition the state of Utah, their division. Did you know that?
When
We
does
just
it-
call them.
We
does
just,
it count?
they just give them a temporary tax permit.
No, you have to call as the person that's providing that you're organizing it. And then you would contact the special tax division, there's a special number, and they
Well,
take down town of Sterling 24th of July. Have you done that before?
No, because we've
Oh,
never had
okay.
outside vendors.
Yeah, so if you have,
But I just know
Yeah.
that you have to have.
and then they send it all to us, and then we just hand them out, and we can make a
Right.
list of who got them, and then
Mhm.
if they want too much detail, but whatever.
Alright,
So what does that mean? It means that we collect tax from these men?
Yeah, whatever they sell,
Whatever they
we
sell,
get,
we
they
get.
have to report on that form, and then we get the sales
from the
tax.
state?
Yes.
yeah,
Well, we get our portion,
Yeah.
alright,
not the whole amount, unfortunately.
okay. Do you have anything,
Yeah, Jim, we talked about selling the mule.
Yeah.
You know, he wanted to sell the mule. I think just posting it in town, would probably not be enough, and it costs, I found out it costs $30 to maybe put a little notice in the paper.
Paper that nobody hardly reads anymore, can we,
well, we can
Yeah,
post
we-
it on like,
Hard to know what to do. I mean, these are just.
can we post, can we get like, flyers or something to put like up at Manti and at Gunnison and,
well, we
Put
can,
it on Facebook.
we can do that, but like if we've got that, my wife
copy of
is
the
like,
flyer?
Oh, right here.
social media marketing is my wife's thing and how she runs her business, so if we do
So
get
that's
that
what Jim
posted.
came up with as far as a price. Oh, it's on my phone
Let's see it.
Okay.
too. 20, it was 26.
Do we,
2,600?
Mhm.
So I thought when we sell something, it has to be by,
bid?
A bid, yeah, and
Closed
it'll be
bid.
sealed bid. That's what
Sealed
I got.
bid?
Sealed bid.
but you can,
but the bids to begin at 2,600?
Yeah.
Well, that's what we have to decide.
I'm not sure if
Did
people
this-
would up that.
That's what I'm-
What year is it? 2002,
2006.
6? Okay.
Yeah, this was just what it was 26 and some 2660 or something.
So do you think Rebecca would do, or somebody want to do a flyer? Do we want to do like a flyer that said that we need to bid on where we're starting town
We
and
can give
selling?
our notice like
I-
this,
honestly,
we just
I-
need to decide a price.
I think the best thing that would work is we park it out here, Oklahoma will let us park it on her property
Mhm.
and put a poster on it that says,
For sale?
for sale by Sterling Town bid or something.
Provide bid
Call this
to,
number.
should we have a certain day that we could do it? Like, I could even be here on a Saturday where, cause I don't wanna put Jim in a position where he's gotta come.
well, they can put it
Well,
in a
it's just
slot,
for a
drop
certain
slot.
amount of time.
Yeah, they-
I mean, he'd
they
only
can
have
put
to be.
that-
Oh, okay, I thought it said
In fact,
anything.
what I would suggest is they put their bid in the Dropbox.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
that's
drop
the deal.
box.
And if they have
Alright.
questions about it, they could call Jim.
They can call Jim.
And so it's.
Have it on
posted,
display
uh,
that way, or he could show it to him, whatever he wanted to do.
Okay.
Whatever he wanted to do.
I worry about the minimum bid. I'm afraid that
Yeah,
they steer
well,
people
and-
away, but that.
I'm just
maybe
gonna
it's
show you
worth
what he.
Do we want,
said.
We probably didn't put the address of the community center, is that okay?
Yeah, that's,
So they know,
that's
so in
fine,
case
like
they-
I say, I just hurried. and
Oh, okay.
put
and
that
as long as
together.
we're okay with this, we
That
don't
is
even have to
not-
set,
Set in concrete by any
yeah, we
means.
don't even have to set a price right now, like we can go home, Google what the,
Well, I've got it right here.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, he sent it to me. If I can find him. Contact, okay. Yeah, he had it. So. Okay, suggested list price, $66.99, average retail, $26.45.
So that's why you have to
That's the list
begin
price.
it.
That
yeah.
was the new sell price, right?
Well,
The-
2006, Mueller,
I
I
think,
Googled it.
I think we should drop
So
it
what
a
do you
little
think?
bit, just cause Jim says that it does take some work to get
Yeah,
started, like he's gotta tinker with it, and then the tire
have to
goes
use
flat.
it.
Yeah, I'm sure that price would be like fully functional running
Yeah,
condition.
like I
You
said,
said
that
it's
was
got
just-
things that need fixed. I don't know.
There's,
Yeah,
26, you mean, is comfortable?
so maybe 16 or,
I think that would be
1,000 or-
about
Yeah,
I think
say
16 is not
minimum
a bad idea.
bid $1,500, and if no one bids on it, then should lower it, I don't know. I'm sure somebody will at that price.
Yeah,
Did you say 1,500?
Yeah.
15?
I think that's, I mean, it's probably worth more than that, but
Yeah.
it's only really worth what somebody will give us for it.
That's
And
true.
Well, we could still go put some, I would help go put some flyers at Manti Market and
yeah, and I'll have my
and
wife.
Gunnison and I don't know anywhere else, so if anybody has other ideas.
So rather than put it in the paper, do the.
Yeah, I just think for the cost of the paper, when hardly anybody sees it,
But we need
put it
to
up
post
there.
this probably in our public place.
Right, in our 3, yeah,
Not this,
but right, and then we can take copies of that to the other places and put the mule up there
Mhm.
on the road.
Yeah.
And then just have it all to where it's trying to get the word out.
Yeah. So do we want it for next meeting or the next? Or the next?
Well, we've already voted on selling it, would it be possible to do it beforehand if we've got a, like, we don't even have to.
Oh, we have to,
discuss-
we
We
have
have to
bids
do
You
it
know,
in a
what we
meeting.
could do is,
Oh, do we have to do it
Yes.
in a meeting? Okay.
we have to approve the sale in the meeting, or what?
Yeah, we have to open the
Seal.
bids in the meeting and announce them.
So, yeah, what if we get it out there,
I mean, this
gather the
is
bids,
also
and
another
then in the
one that-
meeting approve the sale of
Right.
it to the highest
Right.
bidder or whatever, okay.
Yeah, that's how we did it.
Cause we could just have it from now until the next meeting and then just try it
Oh, it
out.
was the lawnmower, Toro lawnmower.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's what we-
and then, cause that wouldn't take too much time along with the budget for what we
Yeah, we
do.
did it right,
Yeah,
right at the beginning, and was done.
yeah.
And I think we had to.
So you want that in the agenda? Oh, you can't do
Yes.
the bid stuff.
Well,
Well, can we put on the agenda that, open bids
Open
received
bids.
for mule?
Yeah.
open sealed bids, yeah, for you. Make sure it says sealed.
Okay. Open and approve.
Open and approve.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. We never did finish Alden's deal exactly. We decided, right here. What the name needed to be, and I did the research, and then it boiled down to 1 share of water. And I know you mentioned, for that piece of property, well, this is what they're,
Yeah, it's those
Name.
3 parcels.
yeah, so it's 3 parcels.
Yeah,
So,
my opinion was it should be allotted to those parcels.
yeah,
And so,
should we, do
that we
we,
don't have this water right floating around in who knows where,
1 share,
one
Within
connection, I
these-
guess.
or yeah, no, share, I'm on irrigation.
One connection for those?
1 connection that would involve these 3 parcel numbers. How do you want it, how should it be written up for them?
Yeah, I think
We
we
need
probably
to
just
do
go
that
along the lines of,
verbally.
you know,
I don't
this-
think it should
this
be done verbally
connection-
myself.
this connection should be allotted to so-and-so. You can put the names on
Yeah.
there in connection with these properties.
These parcels.
Can't you put the parcel numbers on there and just the name and
But
those
it needs to
3?
be clear that it's
One
one connection.
connection.
1 connection.
For whichever parcel, I guess they want it to go on.
You pick the parcel and you get the, yeah, we have to be kind of clear on that, or they're gonna go to the next board
And
meeting
that's
5 years
what
down the
we
road
was-
and say, well, they
We
told
got
me we
3
could have.
connections, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, and then we can reach out to him, make sure he's okay with that, and then vote
Do we need
on
to
it.
have it signed like a
We,
a signature and a notary?
Well,
we wouldn't even need to vote on it.
I think it should,
I don't think we need to.
this
vote on it.
that I had worked up to get to the bottom of how many there was, actual shares, going back through all those agreements that there was, came up with the 1 share, and, you know, I'd made a place to sign them, but this was clear back in October.
Okay.
So, I think you should record this investigation, but I don't think it needs to be on their certificate. But I think you need to reference this and
Yeah.
report that,
Oh, I did.
so that we can
Yeah.
make the chain back to how you came up with this water right, and then
Oh,
10 years down
that's
the road, somebody doesn't come and say,
why
hey,
I
there's
went
your
to
water
that
right, and I remember it's
one.
like, well, no, it's actually connected.
No, I had 3 lots, I get 3.
Thanks for getting to the bottom of that. Laura.
So, there was that, Chris, did the raw water check get mailed? Cause it
What?
was, it hadn't come through when I reconciled.
I didn't hear the what,
The rural water.
like, I can't, I
The
have to
rural
look.
water.
The rural water,
So you mean,
I can't,
there was a check and it just,
Is that-
there was
is
that one.
that a
and
monthly thing, a quarterly thing?
That, well, rural water would be.
Because since
quarterly.
I've been here, I know I've sent one, but I just, is it a
Yeah,
monthly
well,
thing?
it's been made, but it just hadn't come through yet.
Okay.
Oh, they've
there's
been
your
mailed.
question. It's lost in the
Yeah,
She
it's
mailed-
been made,
yeah.
no
Okay,
question about that. I
okay.
just wondered if it's been mailed where it hadn't come through yet.
Well, of
Yeah.
course it's been mailed. If it's still showing up as not cleared, it's somewhere in the mail. If I need
Okay.
to write another one. Sorry, the way you phrased that was,
There,
have
yeah,
there,
'cause there was
has there
just
been
a
payment?
couple, and that's, I just thought if there was any reason.
Yeah, that was a
that hadn't
couple
been-
months ago.
Okay.
Yeah,
So if I need to do
well, I don't
another
know what
one.
bill it was on, I didn't go back to that.
Gotcha.
I can pull that.
Well, be thinking of a project for the park, and that's about really all, or for the youth group, and that's about all I have.
All right. Heather, how about you? Parks and fire department and cemetery.
Well, we're not doing anything with the park or the cemetery right now, there's too much snow. The fire department's going well, they're at, red card recertification tonight,
Oh, really?
yeah.
Um,
And I have that other receipt for you, Chris.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Other than that, all is well.
gotcha. Jim, or, sorry, bad with things today. Nick told me that we've got that agreement with the county
Yeah.
about fighting wildfires.
Yeah.
He said that, when I talked to him, he thought it was gonna be emailed by the time we did our meeting, but
It was.
yeah, we still haven't received it. He said that it's pretty much the same as it is every time, so we'll have that on the agendas if we get it, the email in time for the next meeting. The only difference is he said there was a state thing that they realized that volunteer firefighters aren't supposed to be paid the same as full-time firefighters. And he said that's the only major difference, and I guess that's something that had been overlooked on a state level for a while. Anything you'd like to add to that, Heather?
Not until I have all the information in front of me.
Okay, all right. Tammy, you have anything? I know you said that as deputy clerk or as, I know that we've mentioned we were kind of waiting for winter to end to go through that
yeah.
steering committee, that's what it's called.
Oh, yeah, I've got, a training, we have to do the OPMA again, and everybody has to do the OPMA again before,
Will you send us the link?
yeah, I'll send the link again. I had sent one else to another one that I'll resend again, because I haven't seen anything back from anybody, but it's, each council member has to complete a training every 4 years that they're in office. And so with you and Justin needing to, I didn't know if we wanted to try to hurry and get it done, so that, because you'll have to do it again if you're re-elected for the next 4 years, just in case we're asked on anything, because they're kind of asking me a lot of stuff.
Does that work off terms, like, this is Heather's second year as a council member, but
Well,
you
it's-
took over halfway through for 10?
Right, it's just every term that you're here,
Okay, okay.
so.
So you have to
if-
take it once first.
Yeah, once a term, so
Okay.
even if you're reelected, you're supposed to take it again and get the certificate.
So is that the one I did when I first came into office?
No, I think that was the OPMA. That was Open Public Meetings Act.
So what's this one?
This one is just strictly for municipality elected officials, so like the council members.
So we
And
haven't taken it then.
yeah, I know, and I have it saved it and I sent it out, but none of us did it. I didn't even do it with everything that's been trying to get fixed
Okay.
on stuff, so I just thought I'd bring that up and I can send it out again with the OPMA. Because we notated that the OPMAs that we did before, OPMA is the Open Public Meeting, sorry if I'm confusing, but even though we did it in August, we tried to put it for that, so I don't know if we wanna just hurry and do that again, so that we have it, like, try to get it like every, maybe March or April of every year, and if we wanna just try to do that so that we don't have them try to tell us, oh, these are too late, or,
Yeah.
okay, I'll just send that again.
And you'll just send me the links.
Yeah, I'll just send the links again, and, I just wanted to let you guys know, so,
Okay.
yeah, I'll send the link on that, and then, we talked about the budget, we talked about the property tax. So also another thing that I found out is on our business licenses, we need to, think about this. I know it can't be voted on or anything right now, but according to Manti and Ephraim and Richfield, on business licenses, we have to have a separate classification for a home business at a lesser rate than a commercial. But I don't know.
Does it have to be less? Couldn't it just be
Yes.
that it's
And
the
we
same
can't-
unless we specify?
Well, they just said that, I'm trying to find the code on it, because they said, oh no, you can't charge the same amount, you have to have it less, and you can't fine them, you can't penalize them, you can't threaten them if they don't pay on a home business, and I'm like, huh,
Well,
okay.
if we
So
can't
then you
find
have
the
to have
code,
kind of have a statute on it.
yeah, if we can't find the code, let's add that to the list of questions to ask the attorney.
I'm just wondering if we got any. I thought I had the list.
Oh, we printed them, but they disappeared.
Oh,
Business licenses. No, we're not in this thing, we printed them Friday, but when we went to get them, so we'll have to reprint them.
Okay.
well, I just had a list from what I gave the county last year of who we
Yeah,
had.
no, well, we just printed them out, we thought,
This is just a
we
list.
changed the date and printed them out, but we couldn't find them. So,
Oh.
we probably got them, probably got them mixed in with another set of papers, we'll just have to print them again. But I wasn't gonna worry about it right now, we're just gonna leave it the same, because this is something we have to find out about.
Yeah, well,
I was just giving this information that we need to look at and see, because we really don't even have a classification. I was looking up even Provo and some of the different towns that have them online, they have a special classification for
Yeah,
home businesses.
some online.
So I'm just like, maybe we'll just, until someone complains, we'll just send these out. We just know we can't find them or can't keep calling them and saying, hey, you didn't register. We'll just try to go off of the honor system, mail them out. It's kind of my
Derek
thinking.
Denton wants a business license too. He wants one, and he hasn't
What's
had
his
one.
name? I thought his name was on there, but I can't remember, but,
The what?
well, we just changed the date on the ones on the computer.
Yeah, but he was not on the computer. He just
Oh.
called me, a couple weeks ago. and said,
Okay, so we'll just,
I want a
is there an
business
application form?
And I've looked for one, there is.
There it is, because my wife filled one out like 4 years ago.
Okay, because that would be
We'll
good to
have to
have.
look through, maybe see some, it might be in these logs.
Because I know we saw the letters, and I think that's what we printed out, and we changed the date
Mm-hmm.
on the letters, because we saw the ones that said for the 22, but I didn't see an application, and I thought for somebody new, that would be good that we even have on a PDF that we could email, because we could even email it to Derek and say, here you go.
Or what you're saying is probably what I'm thinking. It
Oh.
probably
I
is
can
an
make one.
application.
Okay, let's do that, well, Chris will make one up so that we have that, we can send to Derek, but the ones that have done it in the past, we just had those letters.
And it's,
We'll just reprint them, because maybe the printer messed up and we didn't catch it, and it wasn't in the
something
papers.
to do with food, more food or something.
Oh, I got it, they're doing another truck.
They
Okay.
must be doing another truck, but it's for Derek.
Yeah. Okay, that was all, I wanted to bring that up, but I just figured as the town, we don't have that deep of classification for home businesses, so we'll just go as we are, and if
Yeah.
anybody complains, we can go from there.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, no,
And then, Chris had,
Some of you have already filled your work out and given it to me, so if you have, just give me this blank paperwork back. But if you can, fill it out, that would be great. There's two things here. There's the employee eligibility verification, and then there's the W-4.
yeah, that's the I-9 and the W-4, and with those, we need copies of the social security card and driver's license for Chris to keep in the employee files, because each of us have to be employees.
As a council member, you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep, and even the volunteer firefighters have to be,
So we're
because
on
they
the,
use our truck and our
on the
gear.
volunteer firefighters, we're just making sure that we don't have this wrong. We're looking into it, Heather and I, so we're looking into it right now and if we find out that's not how the other towns do it and stuff, we'll make sure we get the code.
Well,
Yeah, it needs to be.
I have the code. But you guys can call around on that, but, if they use our trucks and our turnout gear and our equipment, they can't be contractors.
So that's a question we'll, if we find conflicting information, that's a question we'll have for the attorney, and that is something that we should have resolved in the near future. We just wanna make sure we're doing it the right way. So.
Just so that you're aware, I don't know if a lot of people are aware that, if a firefighter gets like $3,500 and he's a volunteer and he gets a 1099, they go to the tax person, because the one CPA was telling me, he had one guy and because they use the town or the city's gear, turnouts, everything, there's very little expenses, and they have to pay both sides of the Social Security and Medicare. So they have to pay the 15.3% on their Schedule C, and this, I guess, was pretty upset. And I do know that I've had a client in 2009 that they had someone that was working for them that wanted to be a 1099 until the end of the year came, and they got the 1099 and did their taxes, and they had to pay the self-employment tax. They went to the Workforce Services, filed a complaint. This client had to go back and refigure the payroll based on the net amount he got, so the employer had to pay the 15.3% to up the checks and then send a W-2 out, because
Is it a municipality?
it doesn't matter.
And
Well,
again,
the biggest thing about
we'll look
doing
into
that
it.
with the W-2s, that my biggest concern is right now, you have them, you hire them on with W-2s as employees.
They're a
What are you
volunteer.
paying them?
Well, only when they get
When do their
paid.
benefits kick in?
We don't have for benefits on part-time employees.
Well, we're looking
But
into
they're,
it.
they're
We're
volunteers,
making
they
sure.
only get paid through
And
the
this will
state.
be something we'll have all the answers for and everything before the next meeting and everything. And if we need to ask for clarification on some conflicting information or anything, we can. This isn't something we're ignoring. We're just looking.
Well, no, we don't have to do it right now, they're not getting paid, they're not, I mean, they don't, it would be on a fire the summer.
Yeah, we'll
do it. And we don't have to do in federal withholding, it's only just Social Security and
Yeah,
Medicare.
it'll be done before the next meeting, one way or the other, whichever way.
But you guys, she just has these here, if you guys wanna fill them out.
Yeah, I've got them and I will do that. Is actually, if I slide them over under your door, like tomorrow.
Oh, that's okay.
That's okay.
Because I've got to get.
We're not gonna get paid until, for a year anyway.
Right after this
so-
meeting, I've got to go.
So it's
get
not like
home
you have to do it
and
right this second, we're just trying to get them.
Yeah, all right. Okay, what
That's-
else you got?
That's all.
All right, so I've got one thing as over employees. I think we need to have accepted verbal escalation policy. I emailed it out, but I'll read what my suggestion is. The mayor or the appropriate party communicates with the person as to why they're in violation of Utah code, town rules, etc. Now, in this situation, for the most of the time, I think it has to do with park, cemetery, fire department. I think one of the appropriate people is Heather. As far as water concerns go, where Justin is the council member over the water system, I think Justin should be the appropriate person in that situation. And then I'm over employees, so in most situations, I could be the appropriate person. If it has to do with me, the council is the appropriate person, or the appropriate group. If a satisfactory outcome is not achieved in a reasonable amount of time, then it will be addressed by the council as a whole on public record, which will end with a verbal warning from the council if they are found to be in violation, along with a timeline to correct the issue. If adequate progress is not made by the end of the council's timeline, then the situation will escalate to a written warning. Every time the same situation needs to be addressed due to an unsatisfactory conclusion, it will escalate up to, not including to, not included to suspension and/or termination as a city employee. This decision will be decided by the council on public record. This from and we can, if we need to, we can get clarification from the attorney or reach out to 6 counties, anything like that. It's my understanding that this is how Utah code is written for municipalities. I think that it's just important that we have a way to move forward if for whatever reason things aren't going correctly. Again, I don't think it needs to be voted on, but I think that, we should have I do think that we have to have a situation, we do have to have an escalation policy in certain situations.
So one question,
Yeah.
You said that the mayor would be over the employees.
So the mayor is over employees. It says the mayor or the appropriate person.
Okay, so it could be an employee that might be doing water stuff, could
Yes,
report to.
so I technically am over them, but I don't see that there's any reason why I should interfere with you during your job.
Okay.
If you say, hey, like having me as the middleman between you and the water master would be, I just don't think productive.
Yeah, well,
And again, I can't write up any employees or anything like that. All this is just saying, hey, this needs to change. Hey, we've got to change that. That's it.
so my take, if I understand this right, is let's say someone is doing water stuff, we find them in violation. I would report to you where you're over the employee,
Okay.
and you would take action
Okay,
to the
and
employee, right? Is it, am I thinking right?
So we could do it that way. Again, the situation on this is just letting them know that they're breaking the rules and they need to stop. Like there's no write-up or anything like that. Like I am more than comfortable doing that, but I also don't see a problem with you saying, hey, you only checked the water system once last week, that's wrong. And, if you're not comfortable to handle that, I'm absolutely willing to. But I also don't think there's anything wrong with you as the council member over the water system saying, hey,
Okay.
this needs to change and you being regarded as the appropriate person. Because again, we're not talking about any disciplinary action at this point, it's just,
It would be wrong
it
for the
needs to
council.
stop. Yeah, for anything to happen, it has to come before the council and a vote on. Just like, for example, with hiring and termination, the mayor elects for it to happen, that has to be a step, but then the mayor doesn't actually have any say past that. The council votes on it, and we learned this when we were going through hiring rules. So,
Okay.
but all it is just letting them know that we need to improve on that.
Sounds good.
Is everyone okay with that policy? Again, from my understanding this is the way the Utah code set up.
Sounds good.
Any-
It boils down to all complaints go to Keenan.
If they need to, but again, nothing happens without the council's go ahead either. All right. Okay. If we don't have anything else to discuss, we can get on to the approval, payment of bills.
Okay, and Yvonne, I did check. You asked me if I had paid the bill. So of course, I'm not gonna know unless I go look at the computer. And then I came out and you asked me if I mailed the bill. So
Okay.
you already know that I paid it.
Yeah, oh,
So,
yeah,
of
because
course,
they were made out the 20th of December.
So you already knew the answer to the question, Chris, did
Well,
you pay the bill?
I just wondered if my question was put that way, because I wondered if they'd been held up for some reason, because I know something about.
Well, then why not just
water.
say, Chris, did you mail the bill?
The
Of course I mailed it, I mailed it in December. If you need me to write another check if it hasn't been received, I'm happy to do that.
And
But just be,
Auto was
ju-
another one that was
just be
made that day.
straightforward with me, like, Chris, this has not cleared. You know,
That's
let's
what I-
figure it out, but don't make me jump through hoops when you already know the answer. I don't appreciate that.
That's why I was asking you, because I'd reconciled and they were still
Well, you should have just said
on there.
that.
So you knew the check was
Should have
made.
just said that instead of, did you pay the bill? Okay, sorry.
All right.
Badger meter, 7387, December meter services. Jim Butcher, 134.06, mileage reimbursement. Oh, sorry, I did print out a new one because there's two bills I paid ahead of time because they were due and they didn't show up because I didn't put the right dates in. So the most recent one is the correct one. Central Utah Public Health, $20 for water sample testing. Dominion Energy, $565, utilities, town hall and fire department. Equalife, $175, weed control. Harmon's, $185, David Green valve repair parts and labor. L.N. Curtis, $316, fire department training books. Yvonne Larson, $420 for forever flag stamps. Anti-telephone, 105.56, telephone services for January. North Stampede Disposal, $93.78, January fuel charges. Flores Methods, $800, quarterly payment for software and support. Rocky Mountain Power, $954.26, electricity for town hall and fire department, paid early on, it's due on the 8th, so I actually prepared the check in January, and that's why it wasn't on this one. Stampede Fire District 2, $603.25, January fire expense fee. Stampede Sanitary Landfill Co-op, 1,000, sorry, I put the wrong number in. What does it say on here?
1,020.
Oh, that just seems so much, I thought I did a typo. So that's actually, so the first month I was here, I was just looking at the invoice on the bottom, the way the invoice comes, it's confusing. So I was paying for 1 month, but we were behind since before I came. I figured this out, so this is really January and November's bill. That's why it's so much. We will not be late again. The Office of Lieutenant Governor, that's actually 2023 and 2024 annual fees. Zions Visa was also paid. The check was prepared at the end of January, $2,153.52, and that one also is due on the 8th of each month. And that's for office supplies and fire equipment and stuff. James, and then payroll for January, James Butcher, $477.91. This does reflect overpayment, so 13 hours went to OT instead of O for other, and so that takes care of that. Yvonne Larson, $200.17, Tammy Privet, $249.34, and Chris Winkle, $446.79.
So, let's see, Jim, Tammy, is this for deputy clerk?
Yeah, this is for the W-2s and the payroll fourth quarter, and for having to re-enter the budget and go through and fix the budget and call an IRS. So it's just on stuff that I had to fix, but yeah. And I don't charge for on everything, but when I was having to do re-enter all the budget and get that all fixed, and then the W-2s, getting them all ready to send out. Chris mailed them out. And the fourth quarter payroll.
So, question on the check register. So there was a fire equipment and supplies for $659.
That's flashlights.
Amazon, that's flashlight?
Yep.
Okay. It didn't really say what it was.
That's because I didn't have the receipt at the time.
Okay. Some high-end flashlights? How many is
They're
it?
the ones that they clip
Oh, okay.
on your turnout.
Alrighty. Okay, any questions on any of it? Okay, does someone want to make a motion to approve the bills as read?
I make a motion that we pay the bills as read.
I second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, Justin, aye. Yvonne, aye. Heather, aye. Tammy, aye. Motion passes. Do we?
I also make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, is there a second?
I second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Justin, aye. Yvonne, aye. Heather, aye. Tammy, aye. Motion passes. Meeting ends at 9:23 p.m. Okay. Thanks, everyone, and just when you get a chance, please get the W-4 and I-9 to Chris.
Will you guys, initial these papers before you head out in the
Yeah.
snow?
You have a pen?
And then did you sign the check?
Is it really?
You know, I'm supposed to get
3 to 5 inches.
Oh, yeah, it's probably second check.
And I already did the.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
And there's another one over here. Two more over here.
Okay, have a good night.
Oh, just one, sorry. Just this
Oh,
one.
those two.
Heather, can I have your initial?
This has to go in the book, this is what we were asked for.
Right.
And I did
And then
already
did you do the
do
bills?
the Polaris.
I have not.
There's 3. No, I meant 3. 3.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Have a great night.
Thanks, you sign these?
I think I
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Justin.
Thanks,
Heather.
Thanks, Heather.
Can I have your initial? Oh, I thought, yeah, you did, so I'll take that, okay.
Because I got a video that
So, receipt has initial, so does this, when you say receipt, I
When you open the door, I said, there's not smell, and I really, or do I need to pay?
If there's not.
That's just a pay ticket, so I think you'll get a bill.
Okay, so it'll come from them, but it won't be on the deed stack.
No.
Okay.
Is Terry doing
In
all
the
right?
past, they have sent the statement.
I might just go ahead and get it ready anyway. I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, oh, maybe it's this one?
Oh, that looks, okay, it looks like a P. I've done TD for so many years, I still do T. If it looks like a P, that's still me.
Okay, I'm gonna hurry and upload it while you're sitting right there, so I don't. That's that. Okay, so I'm gonna go here. And then the other audit. Oh, how come they're still working? Don't I have to have it on to download it?
Yes,
Okay, I'm
just
gonna-
not recording.
I turned off recording.
That's okay. I got you. I'm okay, it's me. We're plugged in, that's why they're working.
I'm okay. Sorry.
Oh, I should have tried turn it on. Where's it going? There.
I have too many.
I just didn't want you to know what happened.
And so then I go to add a notice.
Oh, yes. We're uploading the minutes, right?
Municipality.
Do I need to sign these?
Did you sign the check?
I did
Oh,
sign the
Yvonne, can
checks.
you
These
sign the
just
checks?
go on.
And then, I can mail them, and then there's one for you in there, so take yours, you can sign them. I might not have signed yours, let me know if I didn't.
I put your pen back, Tammy. It is there.
Tammy, I don't know if I'm doing this right. Okay.